Hello, Internet! This is ElfenLied, also known as M, specifically.
Slow clap.
Yes, slow clap, everyone. Get ready for that golf swing. Alright, this is the first edition of the ever-so-wonderful MCast, where we talk a lot about anime, and a little bit about video games, and mostly about fucking nonsense. I am joined with a round table of people that have no reason to be here.
There's no table.
I believe...
Use your imagination, Patches. Use your imagination.
First of all, introducing our local cinema snob, and, prick.
Bitch.
Patches the Clown!
Hey, everybody! Prepare to hear me whine.
Oh, it's gonna be glorious. He does that. Next to him is the wonderful and very scientific Mr. PyroBlue.
Sup?
Next to him is the illustrious lady killer, the Homer Slobotnick.
Hello!
No.
I thought you did theater.
Alright, so we're going to start off talking about what we've kind of been doing this last week, specifically what we've been watching and what we've been playing. Starting off to my right with Patches the Clown. What you been watching, what you been playing?
Well, I have over 100 animes on the list of things that I have to watch, but I have recently been suckered into watching Avatar: Legend of Korra. However, I have not watched The Last Airbender, so it was a little confusing for me. However, the sites that I go on to, I've seen lots of jokes, so I kind of get the universe a little bit, and we'll get more into the Korra later.
So Funny Jump ruined everything for you.
Yes.
It ruined everything.
Everything.
What doesn't Funny Jump ruin?
We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. The power of
we
the
won't.
internet.
The adults only cast.
Well, by the powers of the internet, you were saved, and you know enough about Korra to be involved in our later conversation. Anything you've been playing of note?
Yes, I just recently, maybe 98% completed Fallout New Vegas for the second time. This time with all of the DLCs.
How long did that take you?
That took me about 150 hours, Pyro. 150 hours of my life I'm never going to get back, and I would not have spent it doing anything else.
I've done
Ha!
that.
I played 160 hours on Mass Effect 2. Ha! I did 170 on Skyrim.
Ha! I paid 700 on Oblivion. Both of you shut up.
900 on Oblivion. Suck it!
I played I played a lot of Persona 4.
Do you have any idea how much time I wasted that I could have been studying like calculus or some crap?
So you're saying, Homer, that you could have been successful.
I could have.
You made that choice.
I chose.
He chose. He chose the Oblivion.
Fascist. I chose Rapture.
Really? A Bioshock joke?
Well,
That's one of the greatest games to come out in a while.
Back to the thing.
Back to the thing. So, a little bit about, just tell them what New Vegas is about. Run it through to those who don't know, because they hate themselves, because they spend time watching anime.
Yeah, how's it like under that rock?
Yeah. Basically, explain it to them.
New Vegas, you're shot twice in the head, you come back from your grave, you go hunt a guy in a checkered suit, then you take over Hoover Dam.
Well,
With a lot of side quests. So many side quests.
well, that told me nothing, but if you
Well, it's because you could do whatever you want in that game, really. You could choose to kill the little old lady, help her find her dog, give her weapons, do whatever you want.
How about that desert? All that desert.
All that desert? You mean all that beautiful, glorious, actually desert? That wonderfully...
I would like to interject here. I've seen
horrible
housing
graphics.
developments in the Nevada desert. I would love to live in the Nevada desert. I'm not even joking. I love the Adobe style houses. I'm being
You would not
I'm
want
not sure. No, look.
No, hold on. Are they updating constantly? Like Adobe?
Oh, fucking stupid.
No, I hate everyone I work with. All right. So,
you have a lot of freedom in the game. I gave the most basic thing I could. That is the baseline of what the game is. Everything else is pretty much what you want to do. There are a lot of companions that actually have quite a bit of depth to them compared to companions in other games. Not Mass Effect level depth, but definitely a lot of depth, especially for a Bethesda game.
Alright, so basically you'd recommend it to anyone considering that more action Western style RPG out there.
Yes.
As you know, for
Cowboys and Cyborgs.
Yeah. 360, PS3, PC. Alright. Now moving on to PyroBlue. What you been watching, what you been playing?
Well, let's see. Finished Korra, watched it, every day, every single episode come out. Huge fan of the Avatar series. Watched it as a kid, huge part of my childhood. Game-wise, just finished Dawnguard. New DLC for Skyrim. Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
So, for those that don't know, this is the basic question that I need to know about you. Did you choose to become a vampire or not be evil?
I chose to not be evil because it's the same reason I didn't go for Ulfric's Stormcloak. Because the main dude is a dick.
I got that feel from him.
No, dude, just a dick. And the fact that in the vampire thing, you have to spend so much time with him, I didn't want to.
And as we all know, Pyro does not like spending time with dicks.
I don't.
And why do you hang out with me?
Well, you're not helping yourself here, buddy. But it's very fun.
You're a lack of work.
It is. I gotta admit, a lot of people ask, for DLC, is it worth it, or is it worth that money you're paying for it? Yes, this one is totally worth $20. It's surprisingly, for the first DLC for the game, surprisingly good. Long enough. Could have been longer. Wish it was longer. Long enough. If you do everything that can be done, it's long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Brings in a couple of good characters. I love the companion that they give you. That companion should be your companion for the entire game. She's powerful. She's awesome. Works well.
You have a crush on her, don't you?
No.
You have a man crush on that lady.
No, Serana's just we're just friends.
Did I catch you kissing under the bleachers?
No. I don't kiss vampires.
Patches?
I actually have a serious gaming question. Would you say that it's equivalent to Shivering Isles on levels of actually really entertaining experiences, unique, especially to the original?
I have not played all of Shivering Isles. I just have to say, from what I've seen of Shivering Isles, I know it's good. Let's compare between the first DLC for Oblivion 9. No, just watch. Knights of the Nine, and then we have Shivering Isles. Knights of the Nine, which is there, just to put stuff in, just to gives you some more to do, and it was a little interesting. I enjoyed it. But then Shivering Isles is an entirely new area, entirely new set of things to do that just throws you on your ass with fun. Dawnguard comes with 2 completely new areas that you can go to whenever you want. They're very interesting, very cool, beautiful. Skyrim just being a beautiful game. The second place you go to is gorgeous, and you have access to all of it. Plenty to do in each. It's great fun, great characters, great story. You get a lot of good loot. I'd say it's an excellent DLC, totally worth $20 or 1,600 Microsoft points, or I don't know what the fuck PSN uses.
Money. We used money.
Money?
You throw money at them and they give you what you want, like strippers.
True. Well,
digital strippers.
Not always. But very fun.
If you pay enough.
So, yeah, beat Dawnguard. Also started Witcher 2. Almost cried.
But
it's oh my god. Looks fantastic. Love the voice acting. It's just so complicated.
It scares you?
It's a little bit. It's like, I'm interested really to see where it goes, but I'm afraid of anything. I'm afraid of just everything going on in it.
For the audience, Patches the Clown is
He's insinuating that I'm going too long, and that, because first thing you need to know about Patches, he's a bitch. And I mean that in every sense of the word. He's a bitch, he likes to bitch, and he likes the bitches.
I would say more, not really like a bitch. He's about half a bitch. Most of the time, though, he's like a cynical asshole. Not really most of the time, cynical asshole, and then just bitch the rest of the time.
True.
Oh, please, I don't bitch that much.
That much, yes, that much.
Oh, shut up.
If your baloney had a first name, it would be Bitch.
That some jokes are just too dumb.
The baloney bitch witch.
So basically, The Witcher is like your video game nightmare. It's like your dreams, but your video game nightmare.
It's good. I have to say, it's good. I really like the combat system, but it's hard. There's a lot of stuff to it. You really.
I hear it bends you over and paddles you like a child.
Oh God, there is no. Well, let's give him a break.
It can't be as bad as Ninja Gaiden.
No, that's just thing is
that's
that's
amazing.
that's just hard for hard's sake. This is hard for you can do it, man. Come on, Ninja Gaiden is just hard for hard's sake. This is you can do it. If you aren't a bitch, I pointed at Patches. If you aren't a bitch, you can do it. It's just you have to actually be good at games.
Is it one of those games where, like, if you eat the wrong donut, like at the beginning of the game, 5 hours later,
Yes.
the guard could get pissed at you and then kill you,
Yes.
like for no reason?
Having played The Witcher 1, yes, that is totally
all
the
the decisions. It is a true RPG. Every decision you make has consequences later on, either good or bad. I feel it even gets scary knowing that when you make a decision.
So it's everything that Mass Effect 3 wasn't.
Shut up. We don't talk about that. We'll talk. That'll be another fucking Spotcast.
Yeah, that'll be the video game version of the Endcast. Any more anime related stuff? Since we've been going on video games a bit much.
I know. We love video games, guys. Get over it. I have not watched anime in a bit. I watched a lot when I was in my last semester of college, but I've been meaning to get back into it. I need to start watching the sequel to my favorite series, which is Eureka 7, being Eureka 7 AO. Very interested in that. Also want to see the sequel to Korra wa Zombie Deska of the Dead.
Because, redundant.
What? Because it's funny.
I've never seen it.
Man is a zombie in a tutu with a chainsaw.
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. Come on. Oh, and doesn't the chainsaw talk eventually? Like, it becomes his, master?
Spoilers!
No,
That's
not that I... Well, I don't know.
I know
Maybe
he flies
in the second
around
season.
in it.
Maybe in the second... No, I think you're thinking of something else.
It's weird that I've come to a point where I watch two people talk like mad gibberish that in the 1950s would have gotten them put in an institution. And we're like, yeah, that's just anime.
Well, because it is.
But is it really any weirder than like any episode of Ed and Eddie?
Have you seen Bo?
Okay, that's weirder than any episode of Ed and Eddie. But as
That's Japan, the show.
I will argue that we're all just really weird. I remember all of our like childhood cartoons, though, like weird man eating its own tail kind of.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yes, Courage the Cowardly. Watch any episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog, and you realize Japan's just not that weird. Like, it's just weird in a way that is kind of cooler.
It's the Jibba's world.
No, not that episode.
Shut up.
Throw your guitar at your balls.
So now that somebody's been threatened with violence, I feel we need to move on to Homer.
That's it.
What have you been watching and what have you been playing?
Of late, I just finished. What did I just finish?
Masturbating?
Yeah, that too. I know I just finished.
You can tell we're college kids.
What did I finish? It was a. No, fuck.
Clearly memorable.
It was memorable shit. No, I know what. I know
Squid Girl?
What?
Didn't you finish Squid Girl?
Oh yeah, Squid Girl was okay. Yeah, it was alright. Well, it was okay in that there was nothing really bad about it. There's no over-the-top crap like that. But it was fun. It had its funny moments.
Tell me a little bit about that.
It's not bad. You wouldn't like it. I liked it.
As anyone who's ever read my reviews before, I don't laugh.
Yeah,
I don't find things funny.
He doesn't. We saw Ted. He said it was good because he smiled.
He laughed 3 times.
I was sitting next to this guy.
That was a giggle.
3 times.
He smiled 3. He laughed and giggled 3 times. That movie gets a thumbs up because of that.
Oh yeah,
It's enough. It's enough.
it's enough.
When I rated Yuri, I went 3 stars. I laughed once. It's good. Fucking
No,
12 episodes. I watched that.
I watched 2 episodes of Yuri Yuri. That seems pretty funny. Like, I'm going to start watching that. The new season aired today.
Yuri Yuri is perfect for you. Homer, Yuri Yuri is perfect for you. It was when the lesbian gods crafted a anime and went, what would Homer Slobotnick want? They created Yuri Yuri just for you. Just like Persona 4 was handcrafted for the gods for your friend.
Yes.
Yuri Yuri was crafted for you.
Yes. That was funny. Squid Girl, it's a little too cutesy for my taste. Like it just starts to get there, and then just kind of comes down. The highlight for me are the 3 doctors from MIT. The 3 Stooges are the 4 doctors from MIT.
The 3 Stooges?
Funny as hell.
I'm the kind of guy that watches K-On!, watches Azumanga Daioh. Do you think I'll think this is amazing?
It's not nearly as cutesy as that. Like at K.O., it was too much of an attack on my testosterone. I almost
you actively changed your gender.
There's some good stuff about K.O. There's some good stuff. It hurts to watch. I have to watch it like 2 episodes a month because it hurts. It physically hurts. This one was not as cute, not nearly as cutesy. You would like it. You would like it though. It's cutesy enough. Especially the main character. It's got its funny moments. I think you'd like it. What else?
So tell me a little bit about Squid Girl. We know it's okay, but what is it about? Who's it for?
Essentially, the plot is there's a Squid Girl. She's under the ocean, and she's kind of tired of it being polluted, and she goes up to take her revenge. She wants to invade the planet.
What?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what?
That's the plot.
That's the plot. She wants to invade the planet. It is Invader Zim. The best way to describe this movie is Invader Zim plus SpongeBob. That's literally the best way. I'm joking.
And okay, so and you don't find it that great?
The thing is, there are 2 different kinds of humor. The plot, her intention is the same as Invader Zim's.
I just had the most horrible thought. The bastard love child of Dib and Squidward. As like the main antagonist of Squid Girl.
Nobody's going to get that reference.
There's no antagonist. That's the thing. This is a slice of life.
A slice of life of a girl invading the planet.
Yeah, pretty much. No, the joke is she's completely incompetent. She finds out firsthand from a human. Her first task is to invade a beachside restaurant stand owned by 3 sisters. Or is it 2?
This sounds a lot like Sergeant Frog.
Oh God!
I don't remember that. I've never seen that. No, 2 sisters and their younger brother. 2 sisters and their younger brother. One of the sisters is just not a complete bitch, but she's getting there. The other sister, Shizuo, is the most memorable character probably because she's always happy, and her eyes are always closed. But when she opens her eyes, Mother of God, just shit goes down when she opens her eyes. Everybody's afraid of her.
Is she related to Brock?
I was going to make that joke, but then I was going to no, because it's stupid.
That's because that joke is bad.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure all the Pokemon fans will be happy though. So
no,
you know, it's like 18 views for the 5 people that play Pokemon left.
You'd really have to watch the show to get it, or to understand what I'm talking about when the shit gets real. But
because invading planets never real.
Well, she comes to the surface thinking that there's like 1,000 humans at least, or at most 1,000 humans. She had no concept of armies or weapons or firearms or any of that. So she decides to start small and start practicing by making this restaurant her home base. Problem is, she accidentally busts a hole in the side of it, so then they trick her into working off her debt by working for the place. She ends up being a main attraction for the place, being able to carry 8 things at once. Or no, she has 10 tentacles, so like 12 things at once. And antics ensue.
Makes sense.
Squids have 10 tentacles. Octopi have 8.
That's the Oct.
Correct.
Squids have 10 tentacles.
Some squids have 10.
This is why I'm a physics major, people. Physics. Fuck the ocean.
Pyro, you weren't meant to understand biology.
Fuck the ocean.
No. You go focus on meteors or some shit.
And that meteor goes into that ocean? Screw it. I don't care what it does. I got a nice crate.
Getting back on topic.
Oh, that's the topic.
We're not staying on topic long.
No, we're not. No. But antics ensue from her having to work off her debt and constantly trying to garner respect because she's never taken seriously. She's a squid girl. She's like 12, but she wants to rule the world. It's particularly funny when she tries to take over the school. Yeah, that's that.
So you give it about okay, like a 3 out of 5.
Solid 7 out of 10. Solid 7 out of 10.
So not a meh.
It was okay in that there was nothing wrong with it. When there's nothing wrong with it, but it didn't do
like
that.
7 for you, 3 for me because I hate people.
Yes, 3 for you because you hate people. It earned a solid 7 for me. Solid 7. Like, as Danny Phantom's teacher would say, solid B minus.
You're just throwing out references that nobody's gonna get. You know.
I believe somebody on Anime Vice has seen Danny Phantom.
But we'll remember that teacher.
I've thrown
I
out
watched Danny Phantom. I didn't remember that.
No, I've thrown out a reference.
I watched Danny Phantom. I remember nothing about it. I remember that there's a character named Danny, and I think he was a ghost guy. I don't know.
There's a goth chick.
It's funny. I can do the entire theme. Can't remember shit about the show.
Well, that's because when the gods forged you, they implanted nothing but science and magic. They took out all the parts that normally make a human soul, and dignity and pride and sense of taste, and just put in more music and science.
And that's the true meaning of love, everybody.
I've known this man since I could think.
2nd grade.
Yeah, 2nd grade.
2nd grade.
That's too long.
I was thinking before you were. That makes me feel proud of myself.
Cause he just had to stroke his dick.
Yeah.
All right. So how about
I know one other thing I've been watching.
Yes.
I've been watching it with M. I've been watching 2 things with them. 2 excellent one alright show and then 1 excellent show. Casher and Sins and Dead Man Wonderland.
Oh yes,
Dead Man Wonderland. A true Krogan. That guy. That guy.
Dead Man Wonderland.
That guy.
Me and Homer over here, we have a kind of Saturday thing of sitting down and actually watching Toonami, and specifically the only 2 things I care to see because I've never seen it before: Dead Man Wonderland and Cashern's Sins. If that's how I pronounce it, I don't care. I like to watch robots fight. That's all that show is good for. but the main attraction here is, I gotta say, I really like Dead Man Wonderland.
Yes.
Never been disappointed. We haven't finished it, of course.
bloodbending at its finest?
Yes. To get us even more on topic, super bloodbending. If bloodbending worked the way you would think it worked, it would be that level of awesome. I gotta go with just, it's great.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I have now seen 1 episode out of context with these 2. I have no idea what was going on, but I have to watch every episode. I almost contemplated downloading the entire series from watching 20 minutes of 1 episode.
It is particularly the last episode was fantastic.
Just another quick thing to put down. The great achievement we've all done is we all together we beat Fatal Frame 1.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we forgot.
The guy who was holding the controller was me.
Oh, yes, Patrick.
If it wasn't for me actually playing constant music, Patrick, you would have emptied all of your soul into your pants. Because that is the first time I've ever heard you scream like the bitch you are. It was a fantastic experience. I think everyone here would give Fatal Frame an A+ at what it is, a horror game.
Yes,
I'm going to give it an A-. It doesn't fit up to my standards.
I've never hurt you, Patrick.
By the way, Patches, nice job getting a D ranking.
on normal.
I was having normal difficulty. Oh, I thought we were all playing, huh?
What's a 0 shot, man? What's a 0 shot?
I knew what a 0 shot was.
You got like 3 0 shots.
Yeah, that's because I didn't want the fucking ghosts to get close to me. They were scary faces.
Yeah, because you're a bitch.
They had scary faces. One didn't have eyes.
Wham! Man up! Oh man, let me call Wine 11. Call you a wambulance. Maybe we could go to Burger Queen, pick up a Wham burger and some French fries.
You were screaming just as loud as I was.
I was
please.
screaming loud twice because of legitimate jump scares. There were two things that were actually scary. That's when the game knows how to build up.
Oh god.
That broken neck ghost.
Broken neck ghost twirled around. Oh god.
Oh, and then shot at us.
I shit myself a
fatal.
little bit.
Oh, and now we got three. Three's here. We're gonna have to tackle that one as a group, but that's a event for another time.
Listeners of the MCAST might actually get to see a bit of us playing 3. If,
Perhaps we'll see.
if all goes right.
Yes, if all goes right, we'll be doing some stuff with that. But that's more of a giant bomb thing. But you know,
that's a personal thing.
We'll figure that one out.
It is a tale for another time.
Yes. So anything else anyone's been watching or playing that they would like to mention before we move on to our real topic of discussion?
I'm about to play Assassin's Creed Revelations.
What we're gonna do, it'll be towards the end. We're gonna talk about what we're going.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
Anime related. I have recently downloaded and played the demo for Asura's Wrath.
all right,
We'll
tell
get to
me
that
about
later
that.
as well.
I recently watched a whole review of it by Angry Joe, who is a guy online, very very funny, very good reviewer. Basically, for anime lovers, say on any anime site, basically what they try to do with this game is take an anime and make it a game.
Yeah.
This entire game is an anime in CGI game-based form. The biggest complaint that a gamer, mainly a gamer, could have with this is needs more gameplay.
Mm.
It's almost got Metal Gear Solid 4 syndrome of very long cutscenes. They're good. Story's there. It's good. It's like, I've heard that it's like a mixture between... It's very Dragon Ball Z-esque.
But where's the border between a visual novel and a video game?
Not exactly, because everything's moving. It's the difference between a visual novel is because it's mostly just simple moving picture, a simple picture. This is full CGI, full moving.
Coming from a person who's actually played some of the gameplay, I gotta say, it's half, not quite God of War, because usually you're focused on one little thing. It's a little bit like
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry, a little bit like Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
But with much fewer enemies, but increase the scale of the enemies to bigger than the planet.
It's one of those very over the top, very Dragon Ball Z, very anime. This is made by anime people.
Every single fight, I turned on Guile's theme. Just because it fits perfectly. Not just because Guile's theme fits with everything, but because it really did fit perfectly. That and Queen. Those are the only two things that were epic enough to play while playing this game.
Well, Patches, any more about that, or can we move on to... Actually, I forgot to do my whole section.
Oh, I apologize.
No, I forgot. I forgot that I did stuff.
I was hoping you'd forget so we could skip to the Korra, which is the good part.
Clearly, I know where my place is. Oh, wait, running this.
We'll get there, people. We'll get there, people. We promise. We promise.
Alright, so, what about I've been watching playing? I hear no one ask. Well, I'm going to tell you. I've been... What was that, girl?
I know what you've been playing.
Yeah, you know what I've been playing. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelist of the Roses. No.
Okay, I'd like to interject. He's not been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelist of the Roses. He's been playing my Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses.
Alright, I have to interject here just to say, how did we get to this game? How did we get to this game?
We had finished Fatal Frame, and we decided, what is the perfect palate cleanser? What cannot be at all stressful?
And since we couldn't think of shit, we just think, hey Homer, what games you got?
And then I dipped into my ridiculously massive library of PlayStation 2 games. By the way, I refuse to say library. I actively punch people who say library. My library of PlayStation 2 games that I've had since I was like
I will
7
library in this somewhere.
Alright, you're also going to fit the sound of a punch in here too. But we delved into my library. And we're looking, you got a Front Mission 4, the Ratchet and Clank games, Jack 2, that might be good, but that's too long. You have the Family Guy game? What the hell? Oh, this is perfect! Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses.
No,
a
that was the
Yu-Gi-Oh!
worst.
game.
That was
No,
the
I remember.
worst
I remember. I did it because I was like, you know what? I really wanted to play a Yu-Gi-Oh game because we recently looked at my
Because
old
Pyro
Yu-Gi-Oh
needed
cards.
to stroke his dick.
Yes, because I needed to because it needs it. You know.
Now that your girlfriend's been gone for like a...
And we just decided, and Em over here was just like, "I'll do it."
I'll do it. I made the worst decision possible, which was actually sitting down and playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelist of the Roses. I don't know what inspired me to play this. Like, I barely... Okay, I don't like Yu-Gi-Oh! The show. I watched a lot of it when I was a kid. I don't like it. I think it's dumb because card games, resting the fate of the world on card games.
Heart of cards, man.
The heart of... No. Cards don't feel. They're cold, dead things. They're monsters anyways. Most of them, their thing is they kill or eat people. They don't have a heart. They don't love you.
Well, anatomically speaking.
I'm sure some of them love you, but not in the way you ever... Well, Patches.
Karibo loves you.
Karibo hates you, Homer. It explodes. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't, because that show shit doesn't ever work. So, Duelist of the Roses essentially is like, alright, so you know how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works? Fuck it. No, that's not how it's going to work today. We're going to make it like a chessboard. We're going to give you monsters. We're going to vaguely tell you what they do. And we're going to give you this like overlong, weird... I don't think a human being can sit through the teach you how to play part and not either shoot themselves or skip it. I don't know. I skipped it, and I'm so happy.
We have to get the plots.
Oh yes, the plots. I like to think of myself as somewhat of a historian. I don't get paid for this. I wish I did, but I don't get paid for this shit. Though I like to think I know the base
of everything that has happened ever.
everything that will and has ever happened.
Em, I would like to interject. You could name every Russian Tsar from the first to the current. You are a historian.
Current?
If I wanted to, I could pick an obscure area. I could spin my globe and just kind of do something that's PG-13, and then put my finger on a part of the globe. You could tell me everything that's ever happened in that area of the globe. You're a historian.
Regardless, so I know a little bit about the War of the Roses. Last I checked, the Lancasters were not ruled by Yugi. Joey Wheeler did not charge in on a horse, waving or it doesn't work like that. No, Bandit Keith is an American. That's his only thing, and his bandana has the British flag on it, but it's not even the British flag from that time period. They bothered to they switched the flag on his head, but they switched it with the wrong flag. Oh my god! This game is just terrible.
Quickly, what was our name?
I came up with it.
Patches has a tendency to come up with the dumbest names ever.
Greatest names, please.
So it was. We followed the adventures of DJ Bitch Tits as his march through Britain to fight the Yorkists and establish Yugi as the true king of Britain from the evil clutches of Seto Kaiba.
You've never read the history books?
Seto Yorkist.
The Yorkists, yes.
You've never heard about the time traveling savior of the Lancasters? DJ Bitches, sir! DJ Bitches! BJ's, that's all I can think of.
Patches, that's all you can think of most of the time. But anyways, so we were following along. They decide that the most reasonable thing to do is summon a guy who's really good at card games and have him play cards with the bad guys. And apparently that's why my kingdom for a horse. Everyone knows that. That's why the guy couldn't get there, because he was playing a dual Duel Monsters game with the Duelist of the Roses, so he was late, so the battle was lost and Yugi wins. No. The worst part is, I can't stop playing this game. I don't even like it, and I put so many hours into this. I don't even like this game, but I can't stop. And I'm at the final boss, and this final boss is just every Japanese RPG final boss that's ever been made, who's just filled with so much fuck. And hates me just so much. They give you 1,000 life points. He has a magic card that takes away 1,000 life points. No questions asked. No. This
if you have magic damage, then
shut up, Homer.
It's the heart of the cards, Em.
I don't care.
You don't believe in the heart of the cards.
No,
That's why
I
you keep
don't.
losing.
No, I have lost one battle. Because I'm good at strategy.
you surrendered 5 though.
Yes,
Gotcha.
then I loaded back.
Well, that's just because you're eating lie berries. You had to lie about how many times you've lost.
That joke is both stupid and aggravating.
I did. It was the only way I could think to fit liberry into the conversation.
you
Is
could
that
have
what you were
done better.
doing? I didn't even get that.
How else could I?
You son of a bitch!
Yes.
So end all be all. Duelist of the Roses. Don't play it. It's not good.
They're gonna.
Yeah. Some dude's digging this out right now. Oh my god, somebody played it. I forgot I had this game. I need to go get the Dark Magician.
Guys, word of the wise for those of you who are going to really hate yourselves enough to do this, look online for the cheat codes for Barrel Dragon and Aqua Dragon. You win. Oh, and Mimic. That's 3 cards and you've won. Also Sword Stalker, but 4 cards and you've won.
Also,
What?
best king of the swamp.
Well, the best king of the swamp. You need that too.
There was a typo on the cheat thing. It's the Beast King of the Swamps, but he spelled it Best King, so that's his name now.
It's the best king of the swamp.
Well, he is. He truly is.
Mm-hmm.
But moving past that, we played through that. We haven't finished it, but that's my review, people. Realistically, it's 1.5 stars out of 5 if you care.
You give it that many?
Yes. It's not that. I played it enough. I don't know.
It kept him playing.
Moving on, as for anime-related stuff, haven't actually played it all, but I've downloaded a lot of visual novels because I don't know. I don't know what I've been doing. I played a little bit of Skyrim, but
You've lost your self-respect, is that it?
I don't even know. I still haven't played all of Katua Shoujo, despite.
Let's not get on that yet. We'll have an entire thing just for that.
You really want our second MCAST to be all about Katua Shoujo?
I don't know
Want
about
me to
our
gush about
second.
my waifu?
No. Oh, you admit it now.
Oh, fuck you.
Shut up. We finally have an admission from Patches.
Rin is his waifu.
And that's
Suzuka.
I want you to know,
I love
that's all you really need to know about Patches to know everything. Rin is his dream girl. An autistic woman. With no arms.
She's creative.
That's... They say that a lot at the special ed camps.
She could actually go there because she could pass for retarded, I guess.
And that really gets his, really gets him wet. Is just all those mentally handicapped women. Because physical handicaps weren't enough for him to get it up. He needed a bit more broken.
We'll get there, people. One podcast.
That's a later
But
terrible
now-
story. Now we get on to what this is all really about, because aside from the animes that I've done a review, like I don't even know the name of, stupid Garden of Sinners is an animated movie I watched. I watched the first one. This received some controversy because a lot of people like that movie. The thing is, the first one doesn't make any sense, and you saying go watch the second movie that wasn't out when the first movie was out doesn't make it okay. If you release a movie, an animated movie, you were saying that the first one should be able to stand up as its own complete thing. Sequels can rely on the predecessor. Previous ones cannot. So, read my review on that if you really care that much. Garden of Sinners, decent movie, great music, production. It's empty and soulless, and its attempts at philosophy are vagueness and arguing in a circle over nonsense.
This sounds vaguely like my review for Prometheus.
Well, no, not getting into that.
We're not talking about your opinions or cinema snob.
But that's not what a queen looks like!
Just people, basically, we saw the movie, we walked out, he bitched.
End of story.
End of story.
For 12 hours.
12-hour endless bitching. Well, that's just knowing Patches. So, established that, watched that movie, wasn't that great, but watch Legend of Korra, and turning to that, that's our main topic of discussion for tonight. This is where the spoilers begin, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to keep it pretty fair, but we're going to discuss it, and we're going to discuss it in its entirety. I think everyone at this table liked Legend of Korra, at least enough to say, if you don't want to spoil for you, go watch it. I'd advise watching its predecessor first, but that's up to dispute. But from here out, we brought a table. We started this all to discuss The Legend of Korra, sequel to the everyone's favorite Avatar, The Last Airbender. We even brought a control here, Patches, who did not watch the original, just for this event. Alright, so we're going to shift the discussion. I want, just to start off, basically how each of you feel about Korra. Starting with Patches on this side.
I'm going to give the floor to PyroBlue because I think the control should come after the opinion of a fan of the series. Just for the general layout first, and then for the
understandable. For those who don't know about this series, this is first of all excellent series. As M explained, it is the sequel series. It is a good way to say it is sequel series. I almost think of it as just the spiritual successor in another way. If you've never seen either The Last Airbender or Korra, a very simple synopsis of the whole universe is it is this land where people have these certain abilities, control over elements, the elements being water, earth, fire, and air.
Your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
I see what you've done there.
Except that show was terrible.
Yeah. This one, the Avatar The Last Airbender, is an incredibly good series. Takes place during 3 seasons. And in this world where there are 4 of these elements, there is one being called the Avatar, who has the control over all 4 abilities, while each tribe throughout the world only usually has control of 1. There are many the majority of the people in this world are non-benders, meaning that they can't do anything. A great high point of the original series was how each of the different areas had very unique cultures. Mostly based on real life ones, where the waters were very Eskimo.
I believe it's called Inuit.
I actually find the word Eskimo very offensive.
Well, too bad. Do you think an Inuit's gonna watch?
Are there any Inuits here?
I can't wait to receive all the hateful PMs. Sir, I don't know if you know this, but we get fucking internet in Alaska. This isn't like the 1950s. We have power and electricity. We're not fucking savages.
Okay. Well, the Earthbenders are very much like the Chinese. The Airbenders are very Tibetan monks, that kind of thing. While the Firebenders are basically how did you describe it? Yours is very good.
Steampunk Japan.
Yes,
that
exactly.
is exactly it. Take feudal Japan, give them steam technology. You have
the Fire Nation. And the first series was about this child who was the Avatar who disappeared for many years while the Fire Nation took over. Had to save the whole freaking world. Good for him. Did a good job. Now we're on to Korra. Korra takes place 70 years later after the Fire Nation is defeated, and we now get to this point where everyone is at peace. Now, my thoughts on it, I greatly enjoyed it. It takes place in the main difference that we will get more into later is how the original series took place over. It was considered the journey. Go ahead, Ren.
Now that Homer stepped out of the room, what's the fuck up with that guy?
Yeah.
God, he's a
Oh
fucking
god, I
prick.
want to ram his ass.
What?
Have you seen that man's glorious anus?
Okay. We have
Bleaches it to perfection.
back to Korra because that was freaking weird. Yeah. Korra, very enjoyed it. Takes place with, in one city. It's the biggest part about Korra. If you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, this is going to be a big change for you. It takes place in one city called Republic City, about Korra, who is the new Avatar. She is a girl who has already mastered fire, water, and earth, has yet to master air, which is complete reversal of the original series, where Aang, the original Avatar in the series, had only known air, having to learn the rest of the elements. Goes through her adventures in Republic City. Great things with the overall villain being this character named Amon. Great series. I was very impressed by it. I think it was a very good direction. I think they did an extremely good job with it. It had much better characters, much better character flow. I really don't have a lot bad to say about it. It does suffer a lot from the whole, it's a Nickelodeon show, which we probably will get to later. The whole idea is, at first the feeling of, oh, no one's going to die. At first.
They don't keep to that.
They don't keep. Well, yeah. The show grew in a lot more maturity from Avatar: The Last Airbender, because that one was just full of, I'm not killing one person. But that's my thoughts. I enjoyed it. Now we're going to move to Patches. As we said, it's the Control. Never saw Avatar: The Last Airbender. What are your thoughts, Patches?
Having never seen the original series, what the hell is up with the animals? What's going on there?
Okay.
What kind of demented abominations are those? What kind of Dr. Moreau experiments went on in this world?
Essentially, is your issue that all the animals are weird hybrids, or your issue that all the animals can do weird superpowers?
Both!
Alright. So in this world, almost all animals are hybrids between two animals. Example, the main animal in the original series was a bison and a what?
Some type of lemur.
Oh no, it's a bison and a beaver mix. Is the
sky bisons?
Yeah, sky bisons are a bison beaver mix because they have the beaver tail. They can airbend. Other examples, and this one is a polar bear dog. A mixture between a dog and a polar bear.
Naga.
So technically, Aang wasn't the last Airbender. Technically speaking.
Yes.
I know just enough about Avatar to know that.
Alright. So. Alright, so mainly the thing that comes out of this is all the animals, or why they have bending powers, is that human beings learn to bend. But it's supposed to be a reference to how human beings learn specific martial arts moves. They watch animals. When martial arts, just to give you a little background, when styles like monkey and tiger came about, it was from watching the original animal and adapting that to human movements. They took that idea more so when the creation of bending occurred, because bending is equal to martial arts in this world, that bending was learned through watching these animals who can bend. The flying bison can airbend. The
badger moles.
Badger moles
were the original earthbenders.
Could earthbend. The moon is the original waterbender because gravity.
Yes.
And
dragons.
And dragons
were the original firebenders.
Fire.
Pretty simple.
Each one of the bending styles reflects this uniqueness and their martial arts thing. Basically, you see a lot of Muay Thai and Wing Chun and waterbending. You see a lot of the.
I thought Muay Thai was more in firebending.
No, that's a more. That's actually turns out to be more of a Shaolin fist combined with a bit of Muay Thai. Yes.
I actually like you saying that it's based on that the humans learned bending from the various animals and things. It actually makes me think that it isn't just they learned bending; they also the behavior of their little racial traits seem to be slightly influenced by the animals. The Fire Nation seems to be very prideful. Seems to be very I don't want to say warlike, but they definitely have that little streak, which is something that you think of when you think of a dragon.
Well, true. They very much in the first series, the main bad guy was the Fire Nation. So insinuating that that they're the dragons, the big scary ones.
Yes.
They're made out to be the very aggressive, the very hard. And welcome back, Homer Slobotnick.
Hello.
The thing that really hit me, though, like when I was sitting here thinking, is you said something about the moon, and this is big spoiler. Moon for Water Tribe, it makes me think about lunatics, because people used to think that mental insanity was connected to the moon, and there is a slight correlation, but who knows if it's connected with the causation stuff. But it's just that there seemed to be a disproportionate amount of insane water tribe.
That's actually very contained in Korra.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
be honest.
there was
Bloodbender in the original
the Bloodbender was pretty serious because that comes with a lot of yeah.
If I could interject here for a minute, I actually read about this on the wiki. The thing about the bloodbenders going insane. According to the wiki, if you use bloodbending on yourself to make yourself more powerful, you become consumed with power and go insane. That might have I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I remember reading that too.
Yeah.
It's just the use of bloodbending.
I just watched the show.
Yeah.
I didn't need to go in the wikis. But, so each one, they all have correlations in terms of martial arts and culture. And you were right to say it's more the bending influence the culture. The Fire Nation has a very samurai-esque culture when all the firebenders are essentially the samurai caste in their culture, and they reflect that. They're aggressive fighter types. The Earthbenders are very isolationist and very solid and defensive people. Earth is that element.
Yeah.
Water, very live kind of loosely tied together. They're not constantly forcing their way into everything, but they're ever present. They, in a way, are the most spread out group. They reflect that. The air nomads are nomads. They're moving all across the world. Yes. They don't own a particular country, and they reflect that. So all their culture is reflected in their bending. And you could point at that, kind of connect all those things together. So moving back to more how you felt about it, Patches.
Well, my favorite episodes were the ones with Lin Bei, are you a motherfucker Fong? Because she is one of the greatest characters I've ever seen in a show. Like, not just for the whole interest... I can't think of her in any other words than badass. I love her so much, and it's not just because I have a perverse sexual lust for her mother.
I don't think anyone in the audience needed to hear that.
They would learn that after I watch that.
He's got a bit of a thing for the blind
ones. I cheat on my waifu with Toph.
He hasn't even watched it yet. He's in love with Toph.
That's the only reason I'm going to watch it.
I mean, admittedly, Toph is awesome.
She is, but no.
It's just the ideas behind the metal bending with the wires and stuff. That's very interesting. I've always had this. In Street Fighter EX3, there's a character named Doctrine Dark that does a very similar thing with a wire attached to the wrist. And whenever I saw them, I was just thinking about that game, because I always used to play that game with my brother, my cousins, and stuff. So, like, just seeing that on screen kind of connected me to my past. It just made me feel better about that kind of thing. It felt nice, just watching the show.
Any other comments, how you felt about it? Did you feel confused by it at all?
It seemed pretty self-contained. There were a couple of references to the past, but I could kind of pick them up from the context. And whenever there wasn't, whenever I couldn't pick it up from the context, they'd explicitly say it, or it's not important enough to influence the show.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a very serious show for a Nickelodeon thing, and it surprises me. I like this. It's showing that cartoons are good again.
So that's all you got for what if you feel it's good or not. So
yeah.
Well,
if I had to give it a number, I give 5 as my average. Not when you give 5 out of 10. If you give something a half, you think it's neither good nor bad. I think 5 out of 10, it's watchable. I'd give this thing an 8, maybe an 8.5. This very much impressed me.
So overall, you say and this is the main point of having you as the control.
Yes.
As a standalone series, as someone who doesn't have the time to sit down and watch, over
3 seasons,
over 3 seasons, which could be, up to 60 to 70 episodes of The Last Airbender, do you think you could just sit down and watch Legend of Korra and really enjoy it?
Yes. By God, yes. I've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, but Legend of Korra was amazing, and it's going to make me watch The Last Airbender now.
Now we're over to Homer.
Alright, this is basically, I was gone for about 5 minutes taking my dogs outside. We're basically just giving our opinions on overall.
Baseline, I want to get a feel, and I want the audience to get a feel of how each one of us feels about Korra. They know how I feel, because review, if they read it, and I'll get to my opinion later, but I'm more here, how you felt about it, and basically why. Not a super detail, but,
I thought it was great, maybe fantastic. It was great, maybe fantastic. I'm not sure exactly why I don't feel confident saying it's fantastic, otherwise I would. But, it's great, maybe fantastic. Being only 12 episodes, it doesn't really have the time that Avatar: The Last Airbender had, being upwards of 70, to really flesh out characters, flesh out backstories, conflicts, that whole thing. In the span of 12 episodes, it made me connect with these characters just as good as the first season of The Last Airbender did. It made me connect with these characters as in the sense that it made me care about them in 5 episodes, which I think is something spectacular. I actually got to know these characters as well as I needed to understand the conflict of this era. Great exposition as well, just giving me insight into the universe in a short amount of time, doing a lot of showing and not telling. Yeah.
I would say that I felt that very much the same too. It manages to explain a lot without sitting down and having the let's have exposition time.
I'm sorry, you mentioned earlier if there was anything that confused me in that show. I just remembered. When I saw people doing different kinds of bending besides just the basic elements, I was thinking, oh, this makes sense. I see earthbenders using metal. Okay, that makes sense. They're minerals. I see waterbender using ice. That makes perfect sense. It's just water. I see firebender using lightning. What?
We'll get to that later.
Okay, I would really like
to get to that later. That is a point of much contention between me and Homer of our feelings towards lightning.
And that has a lot to do with the original series. In order to understand, we'll get to that.
Okay.
I had very few grievances with Korra. I didn't have. I had considerably. Well, actually, you know what? I had about the same amount of grievances with Korra that I did with Avatar. I can't remember any of the grievances off the top of my head that I had with Avatar. I know there were. With Korra, it fixed a lot of those, but it gained 1 or 2 in their places that, while not as offensive, still managed to make me a little miffed. I'll get on that later when we do, I guess, get a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
The ending, I was not as offended.
We're going to discuss the ending.
Yeah.
That's towards the end of this.
Okay. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the series as a whole. Again, like Pat just said, it was very adult. It was more adult than Avatar, Last Airbender. Yeah, I just enjoyed it. It was a good series.
Well, I would agree with you. A lot of people that have read Ryan, you know how I feel about it. I feel very strongly towards Korra as a whole. I always got to consider why I judge things and what it is. I feel very much in agreement with Chase that Korra is one season. It is a novel. It has a beginning, it has a set end. All that can take place within one book. The Last Airbender was, in very literal sense, a epic. It has 3 books, in quotations, that describe how it can build this huge arc over line, this huge conflict. And in the end of the day, when you compare just the 2, you're going to have that problem. It was like, well, how does it compare to this massive arc? Well, you can't do that. You have, as an Iliad, or an equivalent to like an Iliad and an epic like that, it's always going to outmatch its novel competitor. But I sit down, and it's the main reason why I give Korra a better score than Avatar, despite me feeling like it might be just too much. But at the end of the day, I have to acknowledge, I feel Korra is better than any one season of The Last Avatar. Which is what I'm getting onto, is how do you feel like they are in comparison? Patches, you're not going to be able to talk as much about it, but you can comment on it. How do you feel in comparison between the two. That's my base opinion. That when you compare just one season to the other season, with the exception of I really like season 2 of Last Airbender, but we're not getting into that. When you compare the two, Korra just outperforms its competitor. Not in a whole, but there, and that's really the only fair comparison I can make. Any sentiments on that?
Personally, I really enjoy Korra's, just as you said, as the season in comparison to any of the Avatar seasons. I actually enjoy Korra almost a lot better than Avatar: Last Airbender in itself. I really enjoy Last Airbender, but Korra has a special place in my heart just because it did everything right that Avatar had a bit of trouble with.
Yeah.
Last Airbender had a bit of trouble with. The characters in Last Airbender had some dullness. Their jokes, while greatly attempted, and I give them that for trying, and some of them were funny, some of them were hilarious, but they were very hit and miss.
Oh yeah.
Korra has this just constant thing of, it's funny. It's doing great to be funny. There is the funny character who is consistently funny, and everyone else has their moment.
Mm-hmm.
While in Avatar: The Last Airbender, it was very, it's this character's episode? Okay, so this person's going to be the funny person.
Yeah.
While they were supposed, Sokka, one of the main characters in the original series, was supposed to be the funny guy. But in the end, ironically,
Toph is funnier.
Toph was always funnier, just in the irony way.
Yeah. Her blind jokes are far better than any jokes Sokka has ever made. And the best Sokka jokes are when he's screwing up because Toph is blind.
Right. And just in comparison of the two series, there's a lot of differences, and I think that it's a great stepping point in a series, and this is how a series should go. It's that kind of stepping point that means something, where they go from, as you said, this epic, and they understood what they were doing with this series. They have announced recently that they're going to do other seasons, which I'm very excited for, but they understood in this first season that it was originally meant to be one season.
Yeah.
That this is the trial, okay? Do people like it enough to continue? And they worked very successfully with just making this one good. Like, as you said, beginning to end. Almost every character has a point. Almost every single character in this series has a point. There are some characters that are only there for the last 2 episodes, but they were there long enough for us to care about them.
I like both those characters.
Oh yes, you do. They were only there long. There was a character that was in there for 5 seconds. I like him already.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because nobody cannot. Let's name it. Nobody cannot like Boomy.
Boomy, you gotta love Boomy. Every character, even to the 3 children of Tenzin, Korra's main airbending teacher.
I would argue those are the weakest characters.
They are the weakest, but they were there enough.
Mostly because the little guy is fucking annoying.
He's annoying, but you know what? He's one of the biggest fan favorites of the entire show.
I'd like to interject here as well, talking about the little guy and just a bit about the humor in general, comparing the humor in Korra and Last Airbender. If I continue to show up on these podcasts, you are going to find out about me. There is a large difference, I believe, between zany and over-the-top obnoxious. And that difference is separated by a very fine line. A lot of the jokes in Avatar: The Last Airbender were trying to be zany, and they were trying a little too hard, and they got over the top obnoxious. I love zany humor. I hate over the top attempts at zany humor.
It's all that gets him up in the morning.
It's all that gets me up in the morning.
Fueled by
there are quite a few good zany humor jokes in Korra. The kids they're over the, especially the little guy. The little guy is just too over the top and obnoxious.
I like the girls.
The girls are good. The guy is not. The little guy.
Oh god, the guy's
fart bending. That's. I drew the line. I had every bit of all of my anger and rage. I had to keep myself from punching my laptop. If I didn't have such a nice freaking laptop.
Well, you know why he had to be there?
Why?
Because it was Nickelodeon. We're forgetting
Yeah.
this is a kids show. There's gotta be that zany character. We don't like him. Adult,
No,
us
no.
teens. Oh no, we don't like him.
I will argue that Korra is not meant to be that big of a kids show.
I have a feeling. I really hope they do this. I hope that one day Milo, when he's doing fart bending, the firebenders nearby and turns into a flame tornado.
According to the Avatar wiki, because I read that,
Because you have the time.
I have the time. Me and Jacob both, me and Pyro both do.
Thanks.
Shut up. In order to earn your arrows, apparently for the
Terrible at this.
shut up. In order to earn your arrows at the for air
tattoos.
nomads, you have to invent a new kind of airbending or something, and master it. Boomy, or not Boomy.
Aang.
The little kid.
Well,
Yeah.
Miko.
Oh,
Milo.
Aang invented the little air ball. Tenzin invented the air wheel. Miku invented fart bending. Milo invented fart.
Heart bending. Yes.
I love this character. I don't know his name.
No, I hate the character.
Oh,
I hate the character.
Oh, right.
I hate him too. I don't know any of the kids' names. I don't remember names. Come on. I'm M here. I don't remember shit. Ever. Ever. I reviewed a movie. Used the name in the review like 8 times. I have no idea what the name of it is. But getting back to it, I agree with you. The humor did grow up. I have this huge feeling that it was the proper direction. Avatar as a whole grew up with Korra, and almost an appropriate amount of time. Even when you just watch the main character, Aang is 12 years old. He moves on to Korra, who I cannot look somebody in the eye and say she is younger than 17.
Yeah.
She is a 17-year-old young woman. That's her, and that age growth.
She is 17. I'm looking at the wiki right now. She is 17.
Good
Good eye.
Thank you.
But warning, Homer, fact checking will be the end of this if we start fact checking anything we say. Because let's be honest, a little bit of a bullshit in our jokes. So, getting back to it, you feel that age difference with all the characters. The fact that a good portion of the staff are adults that are there consistently. Like, down to some of my favorite characters are Tenzin, older guy. Awesome airbender, older guy.
Lin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lin.
Beifong.
The Beifong chief of police. She's like at least 40 something.
No, they have to be.
She's kind
I
of.
think she's a little older. She looks
Yeah.
a little older. to me.
She does look a little older.
She was 70 to me.
Fact.
She is not 70.
I know you said about fact checking, but I actually looked recently. Tenzin's 51, which would put Beifong right around the same age.
I could see that. So you feel that age difference. You feel a growth. Well, not done very well. I think it's probably the weakest thing. The love triangle isn't handled specifically as well. But watching it from the last Airbender as well, they can't do it. Nickelodeon has no experience doing mature love. I know. I hate it too.
Okay, I just really want to say that I've seen better love triangles handled in Twilight movies. To be honest, no, seriously, because I really don't like Mako or Mako or whatever his name is. I really didn't like him. As a character, he's fine, but when he put him into that love triangle, he has no chemistry with Korra.
And then it's just poor Bolin.
Yeah.
I
Poor
loved
Poor
Bolin.
Sonic.
It's beautiful.
Asumi, yeah.
Yeah. Asami did a lot for them, considering the situation. And he just... there's no natural chemistry, despite the fact that I feel, and I'll put this out there, out of everything American made that's animated, the most natural sounding dialogue has ever happened in Korra.
Yes.
You have all the sense, and I think I know how they did it, is it sounds like all of them were in the room when they did it. Oh, news in. It is now officially PyroBlue's birthday. How old are you, PyroBlue? How you doing today?
I'm 19.
He's a 19-year-old boy. 19 years ago, he's just a tiny thing in
It
a
was a
woman.
wish in his father's nutsack.
That's what goodness.
What do you
Look,
know
let's be honest, Patrick, a disappointment.
Oh, hey.
I think we established earlier what you really are, but we're not going to get into that.
19 years and 9 months ago. Let's just comment his comrades behind on the mattress.
Oh. Okay. Back to Korra.
Back to Korra. Where was I?
You were about the shipping.
Yes. So we're seeing the shift, and you have the most natural dialogue I've seen in any American-made animation, and I can tell you it's probably from having just all the actors in the same room when they're voicing it.
Yes.
You feel this incredible sense of that person responding to that person just as someone should, as opposed to we wrote this line to follow this line to follow this line. I want you to read off these lines with near zero context. Which is probably the solution to The Last Airbender's weakest part, which is, aside from kind of Iroh's performance in that show, everyone doesn't sound natural when they're talking. They look really natural when they're doing stuff, but they don't sound right. That's fixed in Korra. But the other thing, I think that this is pushed it a little farther, and I really appreciate it. But now it's going to the thing that drives me the most crazy about Korra in a bad way, and I want to hear your opinion on it. The change of tone. We've entered 70 years in the future. Apparently, when you combine Japan, Tibet, Inuits, and Chinese, you create New York.
Yeah.
With, I shit you not, a Statue of Liberty, but it is so New York, it actively hurts me. And it's a symbol of homogenization. We follow the previous ones where it's about exploring the new cultures, seeing these new things, and now we've entered this new age of homogenization. And what's your question, Patrick?
Well, it doesn't. I was just finish what you're talking about. I was just saying that I'd like to continue when you're done because I have a very differing opinion from you.
Then wait.
Yes.
You follow this exploration of the cultures to this point where you feel a huge homogenization, just terrible one, and it rips all sense of individuality out of all the cultures. You get a glimpse of it when they actually show, here's a bit from the water tribe of the north, or here's a bit from any of these. You get a little bit from it, but in Republic City, it's one culture, one people, and it reflects it, even down to most of the bending performed by people who live in Republic City. Not by the people from outside the city, but from people in the city. They no longer perform the martial arts associated with that bending. They perform boxing, which is the homogenization of martial arts down to simple fisticuffs, which, as a novice martial artist, actively upsets me. I understand it's the tone and direction, which is why in my review I didn't discredit it for this reason, but it actively irritates me, and I want to move it on to everybody else to find out their opinion on it, especially Patches, who had something to say.
Well, as somebody who doesn't really understand the cultures, who doesn't have the background of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and as a serious fan of Art Deco, steampunk, diesel punk, I really liked Republic City. It spoke to me in a way that a city hasn't spoken to me since Tim Burton's Batman. Just with the... I'm trying to think. It's that gritty, but realistic. Not in like a Blade Runner gritty where everything's just smothered in dirt, but like this is somewhere you could walk in kind of place. If you mix even the soundtrack fits with it. It's got a little bit of that Asian soundtrack mixed with 1920s jazz. It's like New Orleans, but in Tibet. It's like if you take.
I want to go to New Orleans, Tibet. Let's take a vacation, guys. I want to see a Shaolin monk play me some cool jazz.
I want to throw. I want to throw my beads on them. Shaolin monks, have them raise their robes.
Yeah. And when that giant snowstorm comes in, no one comes to help.
Well, China doesn't really care anyway.
Oh, yes.
China doesn't care about Tibetans. The Chinese government don't care about Tibetans. Enough about that, though. But seriously, I really, really like the technology that they have. I thought that the shock gauntlets they had And just the fact that somebody invented airplanes just to be destroyed immediately, I thought that was a little much.
I'll get to the airplane stuff later. That's actually a really big point of discussion.
Well, I brought it up not as a plot point,
Yeah.
but as the fact that it exists.
No,
Yes,
I got more. Me and Homer came up with a very interesting thing about the planes and the ships later.
I'd like to hear that.
It was something weird. But Pyro, you wanted to?
As someone who has watched the original series, has seen the tone of that, I actually really enjoy Republic City. It is obviously this giant tonal change, and I know you really enjoyed. And as you said, you were a martial arts guy. That was one of the biggest things you enjoyed about the first series. You have to admit that.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. And while it does, there is in the show, for people who haven't watched, there is this game within the show called Pro Bending, which is almost exactly boxing. And there, I find it very interesting how it's just boxing. I find that interesting. I find how they did that. This whole city, who for those who don't know, is a mixture between New York City and Vancouver, is what they had designed due to the layout of the city and how the mountain range in the back.
That is totally it.
Oh yeah, and I got to admit, it's a bit of a rip-off, which is Statue of Aang.
It's
the Aang of
you
Liberty.
can't walk away and say that's not corny.
It's the Aang of Liberty. As for, I really enjoyed. Well, yes, the martial arts was dumbed down a bit. I wouldn't say that it was as simple as just punching and kicking. I still found enough that even though it all was basically boxing, I could still easily distinguish the water bending, the fire bending, and the earth bending from all of them. Bolin acted a lot different from Mako from Korra. Korra, you could easily tell which one she was doing at the time. Some say?
I would agree with Korra. Like I said, people who did not learn their bending in Republic City seem to do more of the martial arts. For example, Bei Fong is the only earthbender in that entire show that appears to be using earthbending. She does Iron Fist and Iron Chest perfectly. You should watch Bolin. He does straight boxing. He is the most boxing. Actually, no. Mako is the most boxing-ish. Which makes sense that firebending is the most like boxing. But it's straight punches. Right hook, left hook. It's exactly what I'm used to seeing.
I know. I still found it entertaining. Mm-hmm. The one thing that you have to admit, it was never boring. You have to say that. It was never a part where you were just like, oh, it's a fight scene. Oh, well, boxing time. No, they still, and this comes from more of the cinematography of it, just the way that it was drawn, the way it was animated, the way it was still done well. They worked with it, they understood what they were doing with it, they didn't just make it, oh, it's just boxing. No, they still tried to make it interesting.
I disagree half, because whenever it was a fight scene and, say, Korra or Tenzin or Bei Fong were involved, I was very excited. And I remember specifically one word is, if Mako is doing the fighting, and it's just Mako, I'm completely bored in my mind. I'm completely bored. He's throwing a punch. They dodge it because in this, just to make sense for the story, they downplay all the bending. All the bending is far weaker in Legend of Korra, just to make the non-benders more threatening with their gadgets. Because in reality, in the previous show, they show a firebender can ruin regular bending soldiers like that. You watch a scene specifically where a bunch of thugs from the Earth Kingdom fight one not even that great at it firebender, defeats them in seconds.
Was he a main character?
He was a main character, but they acknowledge him as one of the weakest firebenders there. Okay. Despite he's one of the smartest and he's one of the best at martial arts in the entire show, but he's the weakest in just firebend, probably out of all the main firebender characters. He defeats them in seconds. The same thing happens when an earthbender fights non-bending soldiers, seconds before they're out, because bending is a terrifying power, and it's weird to see this crossover, because at the same time Korra needs bending to become weak to make non-benders threatening. But at the same time, the more threatening non-benders are, the less the non-bender argument that bending is too terrifying and powerful to be allowed becomes more and more why. You begin to ask your question of, well, if firebending doesn't even burn you, why is it bad? If I can be hit in the chest with lightning bending and get up, why is it so fearsome?
I have a lot to say about lightning bending.
We have a lot. Homer, we have a lot to say about lightning bending, especially that one scene.
All right.
But I'll get to it.
Just to wrap up myself, I really enjoyed I really enjoyed the theme. I really enjoyed the pacing. I personally enjoyed it. I have to say, as myself, I am not a very critical reviewer. I watch it as the person who is the simple bystander, the person who is not simply there to review, though I am. I watch it as somebody, are you going to enjoy it? That's the most important part. To nitpick, yes, I can sit there and nitpick that the show has several flaws, as I know you guys will get into. But as just overall, the one question that comes down is, is this a good show to watch? Oh, hell yes.
Oh, I agree.
I agree. How I review most things. I can sit there and nitpick, and I will. But I have to say, for the theme-wise, I thought it was great. It is an interesting change. That is the greatest thing. It is an interesting change.
I will argue that it is interesting, and I will even agree that it's almost necessary due to the confines of a single season. I just wish that perhaps just the districts of the city showed that cultural difference.
Well,
one house has a red roof, one house has a green roof, one house has a blue roof, one house has a black roof.
I know.
That's the difference.
And one thing I wanted to mention is, I understand that you have this problem with this cultural thing, but this city is supposed to represent the cultural mix.
Yes.
As in, it is them all together as one. Yes, there are firebenders, waterbenders, and earthbenders, but overall, they are one city. They are one people. The point of the city was to try not to say, oh, the firebenders go here, the earthbenders go here. No, they're supposed to be everywhere.
But that's how people work. That's
I know.
That's why in New York City you can go to the Irish part of the town.
I know, but even in it's called in the show. There's this gang called the Triple Threat, I believe they're called. They are made up of all three. Mm-hmm. And there's when Korra first goes into the city, she meets three of them. They're all three, each of different. You cannot tell culturally the difference between them.
Yes.
And that is through 70 years of homogenization.
I have a bit of a question. What's the proportion of benders to non-benders in this?
It's never fully talked about or really introduced. In this series, it is insinuated that the benders are a little bit higher, or if it's either a little bit higher or just a little bit less. But the main thing that they're doing is showing more power. You see so many non-benders that it makes it clear that this is a big city. Okay. If you really watch, look at these big Amon's big rallies. There are thousands of people there,
and that's still a minority within a minority.
Yeah.
Me and Homer had a discussion about this. What I get a feeling from is that Republic City, it's about a 60-40 mix purely because the nature of that city, being that it is so many benders from all over. But the rest of the world...
60-40 what? 60
non-benders, 40 benders. But the rest of the world, I would guess, and from the feeling of the show, it's more of a 30-25% benders, 70-75% non-benders. It's just that Republic City, by the nature of bringing in the most powerful people from all these cultures. And the thing about the original show is you learn almost all the countries are run by the benders. Because they're more feudal cultures, power gives you political power. And that's what I think is meant by Aang's solution to the whole... I think he was trying to come up with a solution to the whole debate of who should hold the power by creating a democracy over the monarchies that rule that world in Republic City, where everyone by law is equal. Which is different than the treatment in all the other kingdoms, where if you're an earthbender, or an example, Fire Nation, if you're a firebender, you are almost certainly in the military, and almost certainly have a higher status than any other person in the country.
All right, that's very interesting information that I did not know.
You get that feel. Well, they're literally the samurai caste, or at least they were in the Fire Nation. It's a bit different in the colonies.
Right.
In the Earth Nation, you have a feeling that you are a worker if you're an Earthbender, but you have a higher status. That you are treated as more important. In water culture, the Benders are extremely important to their culture. They are definitely they're the noble tier, most of the time. That is the only culture where the king at the time was not an actual Bender. But Republic City seems to be that solution. So that is the feeling I get, that definitely more non-Benders to Benders. But it's one of those things that if the two of them fought, and just without that technological jump that the non-Benders are trying to push to even it out, the Benders would destroy them. Instantly.
They would.
That was the great fear. That's why bending is kind of quote-unquote evil, is because it's basically somebody has power over you and is stronger than you no matter what you do. No matter who you are, no matter what you did in life, this one guy who could be a bum on the street could kill you in an instant. Doesn't matter what you did, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter if they're the richest non-bender in the world, a firebender could walk in your house and light you on fire. And you're dead. He could. He could. And that's a point they try to make, and that's why the confusing part is, though, benders are made so weak in Korra by comparison.
Yeah.
Where firebending doesn't seem to do much than hurt.
And that they bring up the only thing that ever even posed a threat to them in the original series, which were chi blockers.
Yeah.
Which are the main militia force of Amon's forces, are chi blockers because they're the most effective against benders. But even so, there were many times when, one of the main chi blockers in the original series, Ty Lee, if I remember her name, she was defeated many times and could be easily outmaneuvered. Just outwitted, just by, and just the fact that yes, you're being outnumbered, but there are plenty of ways to get a person away from you.
Yeah,
and I will admit that they do make bending a lot lesser.
But I think it's necessary.
It is necessary just for the whole
make
idea
it
of
a threat,
and to make Amon seem just that more threatening. Our first spoiler of the cast: Amon's big secret, everybody. He can take away people's bending.
I think if you were all interested in this spoiler cast, you have to know that.
Yes.
Already. You had to have known that going in.
And everybody, and I'm sorry to ruin that. If you're watching if you're listening to this, too bad. That was the first big point. Some people saw it coming. But it was still that, he shouldn't be able to do that.
Because, according to the show, the only one who's gained that power was Aang. Was the first person who ever learned...
Not the first. I've read up that he was not the first. One of the only, though. It is a thing that only the Avatar can do. The main problem with it is that you must be... what you're doing is bending someone's energy forces, but the only way you can do that is for yours to be unbendable. Mm-hmm. Your energy forces cannot be bended.
Interesting piece of trivia. It's thought that the lion, just as every element has its own elemental animal that was the teacher. The moles being the earthbenders, moon being the water, dragons fire, etc., etc. The lion turtles were the first energy benders, and that's why that one was able to teach it to Aang at the end of the first series.
Lion turtles?
Shut up.
It is.
It's
a thing.
That's a really, really, really awesome mix.
No, it's essentially a floating island. It's an entire creature that makes up.
If you want to see that, watch the original series. That's all we're gonna say about it.
I'm gonna watch the original series then, just to see that. And talk.
I agree completely that they have just the bending way down. I still really enjoyed it.
I agree.
It is, of course, as you said, completely necessary to give the enemy an actual feeling that they have an upper hand enough. Because there are parts in this series where Amon's forces seem like they're winning and cannot be stopped.
Yes.
There are points, and it's just... and
even though by any logic they should.
It just goes, really? I mean, one good fire bending to that blimp? No, it ain't going nowhere.
It kind of actually reminds me a little bit, another little... Well, actually, a rather big spoiler. The Uprising.
Uprising of who?
Amon's Uprising.
Oh.
The pretty much the clincher revolution thing. Just, it felt a lot like Fight Club. No, think of the way this Fight Club worked, where it's just like, we're the people who cook your food, we're these people, just people who work in the things. Suddenly it's like, oh yeah, lightning glove.
Yes.
It had that feeling like you have no idea. It's really paranoid. You have no idea who's working for Amon. I thought that was really good.
I didn't get that feeling, but you are right to say that is exactly what happened. That's why so many of the weapons and the military and police that work there were immediately trounced, is because all their secretaries, all their janitors took over those ships. Those blimps are now Amon's blimps. Those bases are now Amon's bases. That's why, again, this is a spoiler cast, so acknowledging Amon is able to take Republic City in minutes.
Yeah. So just to basically end my feelings, sorry that went a bit long on my feelings about the theme, and so I enjoyed it. Thought it was refreshing. I thought it was quite well done. Now, Homer, what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts on the theme change. I had the exact opposite opinion of 1920s and 30s New York and Vancouver from M here. I absolutely love old 1930s New York as a setting, even. Just like, as a whole, there's so much history there. There's so much just... I like it. I love the music. From
the music
40s.
Is good. The music is good.
Right. I have Swing on my phone that I listen to every day. I find it fantastic. I like the whole bustling feeling. I like the whole everybody's working together even though they're not. It's we're all together but not. I just love that whole feeling. The bending homogenization. I feel the same.
Tyro, get off your phone. This is professional here.
Yeah, get off your phone. What are you doing?
I am saying goodnight to my girlfriend, something no one else here can do.
Oh, fuck you.
Bam!
I'm too busy watching anime to worry about girls. Ew. Cooties.
You don't even have a wife.
3D pig disgusting.
Of course I don't have a wife.
It's not like we're patches. Jesus.
Oh, shut up.
Who do you
not
take
my
me
real
for?
wife. Back to Korra.
Any hoodles. I feel the same way about the bending homogenization that M does. I don't particularly care for, it's all become boxing. It hasn't all become boxing. There are a few true benders. All the airbenders.
Tenzin is
and his children.
Oh, yes.
His
they all
children
do
actually use
Bagua. That's what I found out what it was.
Bagua?
Yeah.
My uncle does Bagua.
Yeah, that's what it is. I should have recognized it by there's one scene in the last Airbender where he beats Zuko purely by keeping his hand on the spine. That's an old Bagua trick. Theoretically, if you can keep your hand on somebody's spine, there's no way they can hit you. Even if they mule kick you, if you keep a distance, about that distance, they can't hit you. They physically can't. So the key of Bagua is to ensure that you are constantly behind them, that they can't hit you, but you can hit them as much as you want. I did some research purely because that was the one bending I couldn't figure out what it was.
That's pretty cool.
That's where I found out I was a little wrong about the movie. The waterbending. It's still a little bit of Wing Chun, but it has the Tai Chi in it that I thought was more in firebending.
I am still very impressed, though, and viewers didn't know this. When I was talking to M about the bending, he was able to identify the martial arts by just kind of looking at it. Most of it he didn't really have to just research. I was pretty impressed by that. But any hoodles. I didn't really feel... I didn't like the homogenization of the bending from... actual martial arts to being watered down to boxing. The few benders that do it, I really enjoy. I like when Lin does it. I like when Tenzin does it. I like when Korra does it. That being said, I did not feel bored during the fight scenes. The fighting, I didn't really enjoy as much. The fight scenes, I felt were very creative. The music was perfect for the scenes. I can remember watching one scene like 4 times just because I thought the music and the camera angles and everything was just perfect.
Cinematography has always been perfect.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's the one scene where they're chasing the anti-benders on. They have Bolin, and the two guys on motorcycles are also following, and they knock over the two guys on motorcycles. And it's just before the fighting begins, the music kind of kicks up.
Oh yeah,
That's perfect.
the cinematography and the actual, you get the feeling that everything was on purpose, like the change in the bending.
Mm-hmm.
It's a personal taste thing I don't like, but you can tell that
Yeah.
the same handcrafted thing, like, all you need to know to watch some of the most handcrafted fight scenes, like, I use this example as one of the most beautiful, just star-strikingly beautiful things. It's from the original Last Airbender. I'm not going to tell you anything about the fight, but it's the Azula versus Zuko fight right at the end is stunning, and everything about it is stunning. And that same handcrafted feel is in Korra, where you can tell they cared a lot about the scene. They put a lot of frames of animation in it. They focused a shit ton on making it look nice and captured well.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree with you. It was all captured beautifully. I had something to say. The bending was. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I was going to say. Pyro, take over for me while I remember what I was going to say.
Take over with what?
I don't know.
I'll take over by saying that that I really liked pro bending. I actually think that if they made a pro bending like Xbox Live
That'd be
arcade game,
a hell of a cool game.
I would play that so much.
Oh, he remembered now.
I remember.
Homer knows this. Homer's going to bring out the guns.
I do feel that in the Avatar: The Last Airbender, a lot of people use their bending in a quote smarter fashion.
Oh,
and by that I mean like I could not count on both my hands the number of times where an Earthbender who is perfectly capable of doing this had an enemy just sitting there waiting, and I was wondering aloud, why not just do like Edward did to Pride and entomb him? You know, just boom and
what
boom.
does that Earthbender do?
Nothing. An Earthbender
You know, the only-
a wall.
The only guy that did that. The only guy that did that in the whole series. Aang.
Did he actually entomb anybody?
Yeah, that's how we got
Flashback.
That's what we got to the dude that he fought in the flashback. That's how he beats him. He just goes bam. They came with your freaking arms.
Toph has done that a bunch of times, though, but it's with the triangle.
Well, Toph does that.
Yeah.
I mean, in Korra.
Yeah.
In Korra. And no.
Oh.
I remember. I'm sorry. I saw
Yeah.
this online. It was during the
Yes, I
final
agree.
scene. The final scene when Korra is hiding under this thing, and a Mon walks by and says, "Was anybody else here just thinking, Earth Tomb that son of a bitch?"
Yeah, exactly. Like all the times when they're fighting the robots, it's clearly shown that Bolin can wreck an entire airstrip in one swoop. Why can't, when a robot is coming at him, he puts, I'm not even joking here, a 1 foot meter, a 1 foot by 1 foot block just whoop, up in front of its tread and trip it up? Or, even better yet, kind of judge where it's going and take I'm going to say 7 foot by 7 foot block and drop it down 7 feet right in front of it and just it falls. They definitely bent a lot stupider in Korra
Or like the simple
And
thing
in
of,
Bolin.
why don't they
Yes.
teach the Avatar metal bending?
because they
Because they didn't have anybody there. The only person
Because
that
wait,
it would
oh.
pass it on was Toph, and she only passed it on because she was immediately placed. Once Republic City was built, she was immediately placed as the head of police. She only
You're telling me she couldn't teach a White Lotus Earthbender how to metal bend just to teach of the new...
because those guys are old. They don't get that cool jive stuff.
Oh, the White
actually,
Lotus group is public now.
Yeah.
That's who trains
They're
Avatar.
still old.
Oh, that's
We could
good.
probably
You see any one of them that wasn't under 60?
We could probably look forward to Lin Bei Fong in season 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, speaking of which, I almost cried when Lin Bei Fong got the thumb poke of doom.
Oh.
I almost cried because I was like, my favorite character. No.
Another example of bending stupid. Weld the hatch shut with your metal bending. Problem solved, please. I'm not even joking.
I agree. I feel you have to admit that in the last Avatar they bent fucking smart.
Sokka, who could not even... I doubt he could fight his way out of a paper bag just on pure fighting prowess until the later season when
Until he gets that sword.
Until he gets that sword. Then he's pretty competent. He was without being a bender, bent arguably the most threatening firebender aside from Zuko and the Fire Lord, and maybe Azula. The one who could firebend with his mind.
The second firebender.
Yeah, killed him with killed him. Yeah, he killed him on screen with a boomerang. Mm-hmm. You gotta be smart as crap to do something like that. For Korra,
even the earthbending soldiers were doing something smart half the time. Now all they can think to do is make a little disc and punch it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Aang took out Aang took out basically the equivalent of the final boss of Oblivion. the little gate, the big gate thing, with a wedge.
Yeah.
A wedge, and I put it to you, 1.5 liters of water. 1.5 liters of water and a rock wedge. That's all it took. He bent smart. He bent smarter, not harder. Korra only bends harder.
But they make that part of her character. She's the most talented bender.
Well, then I will say Korra as a show bends harder, not smarter.
Okay.
Korra as a show bends harder, not smarter.
True.
With the exception of Tenzin. Every time Tenzin fights, I get giddy.
That's so cool.
Those 2-second scenes when he actually does bend and then gets shocked.
I'm sorry, every time I see a Ben, it's like, excuse me, badass coming through.
Speaking of Tenzin, actually, this is a little off topic. It's related to Tenzin, though. When I first started watching the show, I was thinking, you know what? I'm wondering how this badass guy that's like really patient, really nice, can have such bratty kids. And I was thinking, you know what? He's kind of a pushover. Like, because he's so patient.
Alright, this is M again. Technical difficulties devoured the last 30 minutes or so of our podcast.
Damn you, machine god.
Well, this is because we did not do the proper prayers to the machine gods before we recorded this podcast. So we're going to have to restart exactly...
I blame the rap music.
The violence in our schools.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to keep going just from where we left off. The last thing we have on our podcast is Patches here bringing up a little bit about Tenzin and his kids, in which we were going to jump off into explanation of exactly why that is in the Airbender culture.
Right.
In Airbender culture, you see this evolution of the mindset. Airbenders are born with a free and hyper attitude. Super energetic. You can see it in Aang. You can see it in their biggest of successes and their wisest of people. They had a wild side. They eventually grew through meditation, accepting, separating from the world, and they gain a sense of stoicness.
Yeah.
But they always have that bit of wild side. You can see it in Tenzin when he's watching pro bending.
And you can see that a lot in, as Homer said, while we had some technical difficulties, he brought up that there's Monkey Yatsu, who is in the original series, who was Aang's great airbending teacher. He was always the man who taught him to be stoic, away from emotions, but yet he was a prankster. He just did whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah, he used to throw cakes at random monks for his amusement.
Really?
Greatest Airbender.
Yes,
Greatest
yes.
He's best bender.
Monkey Yatsu is best Gyatso.
He's best bender.
Yes.
Best bender.
Bei Fong.
No,
Bei Fong.
Gyatso best bender.
Lin Bei Fong.
No, I'm sorry, Iroh best bender.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Iroh best bender.
I roll best everything.
I am convinced that Iroh has a woman waiting for him at every port.
Iroh has a woman waiting for him in every city, in every nation, every place.
In every
There's actually a woman in every scene of Avatar: The Last Airbender. They're just hiding in the bushes.
Yes, waiting for him.
Waiting for the children to leave so they could jump Iroh's bones.
You wish you had that honor.
Those wrinkly old bones.
Those wrinkly old... No, did you see Iroh without his shirt?
True.
He ain't wrinkly.
True. Yeah.
He ain't wrinkly. That man is all muscle. So you see it in all the cultures. They have an attitude that is connected to their art, their culture, that all comes from their bending. Firebenders are powered entirely by passion, and thus their art is very passionate, it's very beautiful, it's very fiery, but at the same time their motivations are passion driven. Earthbenders, as Homer once terribly punned, are hard-nosed, hard-working. They face a problem hard on, just like the rock their culture is based off of. And
face
they're-
the problems with the hard-on.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes, they do.
I have a feeling by the end of this, I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
My head's already hurting. Pyro, my head's already
The
hurting.
butthurt will make it an anal-rism.
Don't bring up butthurt.
Not on this podcast.
That's for another day.
That's for a podcast devoted entirely to the butthurt scale.
Oh god, yes.
We'll bring. I'm looking forward to that.
Later on.
No,
Back on topic.
Back on topic. You can see it in waterbending where they're just connection to the flow of things. They're, bend smarter, not harder attitude towards everything. And so their bending is very smooth and devoted. You can even see that that attitude in just the specific martial arts they're based off.
Right.
That is the basic lesson we tried to build upon. Of course, we're all now at 1 a.m, very tired, trying to get through this.
And I just want to bring, we for the record, this is our first podcast ever. We're using. We hope this quality of sound is good enough for you internet. We know you'll bitch, but get over it. We just want to say that we basically we probably went for a good. How long do you think? A 30
40
minutes after the our recorder had almost run out of battery, so stopping the recording. So we probably got into some good shit that you're never gonna hear.
Oh, and that's for us only.
That's for us only.
That's like the VIP.
We're gonna do our best. We
I
promise.
do want to go over one thing that we
will. We
Yeah.
promise
The
we will.
lightning
We promise. Oh, we promise we will. It's just if we backtrack at all, we apologize. Sorry.
Sorry, internet. It's worth it. Come on. You get to hear my wonderful voice. Finally, when you read my articles, you can hear this, stoic, silky.
And it's
Wonderful.
because it's almost funny because you think there'd be an echo from just how far he's up his own ass.
You can hear it. It's a little bit in the distance. But you can hear
His
it.
head's so far up his ass that he's full of himself.
No, that was a good one. No joke, community. I'd fucking for the story.
Oh.
I would
Just
fuck
to
your
hear.
voice.
It's like chocolate in your ear.
Okay, so Korra.
So Korra, me and Homer have a big thing that we went a huge rant on when
Try to recreate.
Patches asked so wonderfully, "What is up with lightning bending?"
And
What
why
is it?
it related to firebending?
Yes.
Why is it related to firebending?
Homer, you gave the perfect explanation. You go
Right.
again.
Essentially, in the first season, lightning bending was the big deal. That was a big deal.
It was the
first
insta kill.
It was the insta-kill. It was the one-hit kill. Only 3 firebenders ever were said to do it. Only firebenders have this ability, and they go out of their way to say...
The only shown to do it.
Yeah, only 3 are only shown. Pyro's shaking his head at me. 3 are shown to do it. Iroh, Azula, and Ozai. Firelord Ozai. 3 are shown to do it. They go out of their way to make sure that you realize this is the big thing and only very few people can do it. Prince Zuko. Zuko's a very talented firebender. He might not be the best firebender. He's definitely gone out of his way to master the martial arts and not so much the bending. But he's very talented.
Oh yeah, very.
He attempted to lightning bend, and it literally blew up in his face every single time he tried. Literally.
Is that why he has the scar?
No.
Oh,
He has a scar from his
His father punched him in the face, but with fire.
All that Agni Kai.
All that Agni Kai. But the way lightning bending works is through channeling your chi in a specific way, you can open a pathway. And by that I mean nature abhors a vacuum. And through this weird stuff, I forget exactly how it works.
It's
but
separating the
essentially
yin and yang.
You're separating the yin and yang on a finite path through the air in front of you, or to wherever you're pointing. You are separating the yin and yang. The lightning comes from when the yin and yang collapse back together, and that creates the lightning. You are not actually shooting lightning, and you are not in control of this magnificent power. You are guiding where it goes. And they make a big point of, once you start, there's no stopping. There's no canceling out. You can conject where that energy goes, but there's nothing to do.
To interject, that actually strikes me as brilliant, because that's a mirror image of how thunder is formed. Because it's when the lightning shoots, technically up into the clouds.
Thunder isn't
There's lightning. No, I'm saying it's similar to the process of thunder. There's the ionized air or whatever, and all the air like shoots back in, and that's what thunder is.
No, thunder is the noise.
That's what I'm saying. When it shoots back in, the air.
I'm sorry, I'm going off physics on his ass.
Dude,
There's
no,
a difference between lightning and thunder.
I know there's a difference between lightning and thunder, jackass.
He's saying that's what creates the lightning.
Yes, what I'm saying
calm
is
yourself.
that creates the lightning. The lightning
You
does all
can
this
tell
stuff.
that this is like
And
2 in the morning by our attitude.
And the sound that occurs when all the air shoots back into it
It's breaking the sound barrier.
is the thunder. And that's similar to the way that the lightning bending is formed, with the yin and yang being separated.
And then collapsing back.
And then collapsing back together. It's like the material as the lightning, and the immaterial, the sound. The yin and the yang.
Yes.
But back to what I was saying. That is how lightning bending works. Is you're separating in the reactions and the lightning and the stuff. But they make it a really big deal in the first season. Only 2 people are shown to get struck with lightning and live. I'm not sure who the second one is. I just know that because M told me that. I know Aang is one.
And then, no. The second one isn't even struck. It's a failure to redirect the lightning. Okay.
Yes, you're right. Or a impartial redirection.
Yes,
when
because
Zuko does the thing, he only redirects some of it.
Yes.
And then lightning redirection is supposed to be the holy god. I didn't even know this was possible. 2 people redirect lightning. Or 3 people have 2 people have lightning redirected at them by 2 other different people. The Fire Lord shoots lightning at Zuko. Zuko redirected. He is flabbergasted that he could.
He is so shocked he does nothing.
Yeah. Same thing happens with Azula. Azula does her whole dance, shoots it. Nope. Azula is visibly shocked.
Yeah. Iroh just takes it away, and she goes, "What?"
And then when the Ozen does it again at Aang, and he sees Aang can do it, he is just, oh no, I'm done. He immediately just, the look on his face is, wow, I'm going to die. Because you're going to get struck by lightning. It's lightning.
Yeah, there's a part in the final fight where Aang has a choice to kill him instantly. He would have won.
Yeah.
Dead. The thing is, he's like, I don't want to kill somebody.
Yeah. And let's think about that range for a second. Just like, I'll bring this up later. The range, how far apart would you say Aang and the Fire Lord were when they were standing on those spires?
100 meters.
100 meters? Let's just go with 100 meters, right? Kill him instantly from 100 meters away in essentially the speed of light.
Yes.
At essentially the speed of electricity.
Which is fast.
Which is fast.
That is fast.
They go out of their way to say, oh, it's this thing that only a select few firebenders can do. Jump to 70 years later, when we have shown that firebending has gotten weaker. Pyro actually had this said that came up with a reason for why firebending was.
Do you want me to explain it?
Yeah, you explain.
Basically, it's just that I remember coming up with this realization that in Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's a scene where Zuko admits because he, after joining Aang, there's a moment. There's a moment when his firebending doesn't work, and he comes to realize that it's due to the fact how, for the longest time, his firebending was fueled by his anger. All the firebending is fueled by the emotion, the passion. His passion was his anger for the Avatar, trying to catch him to regain his honor. Well, now that he's working with the Avatar, that anger is gone, and his firebending no longer works. There's an entire episode dedicated to him going with Aang, so they can both relearn about what firebending is really about, and it's not about the anger, it's about the art.
Art in the sun.
The art in the sun, and just using all these other emotions, not just anger, learning to use all emotions. And that's why it's saying that once the Fire Nation is now just basically gone, and in the end now we have 70 years later, there is no longer that passion. Now comes in the irony of the situation. Take it away, Homer.
I also just thought of something.
How do you think the Sun you think the Sun people were mad about how firebending was then? How do you think they feel about Republic City firebending? They were mad.
They're mad.
Oh,
No, they're probably all. Let's be realized. They're engines. They're probably all dead.
please, Mayans, please, please. Punch you in the face. I hate Uncle Dolan. I'm coming out now. I hate Uncle Dolan.
That's a good lightning bending.
Like
Burn all the Brolins
Jump
to
to
the ground.
Shut up. Jump to 70 years later, and what do I see? But no less than 7 firebenders
In a power plant.
at a power plant. 7. Just I'm casually working a paycheck. Just think about that for a second. They're continuously shooting light. That's not even how it would work. It's a short burst of energy through the collapsing of. Oh, it made me mad.
The previous Fire Lord Zuko, could not lightning bend.
I bet you his entire life he went without lightning bending because he didn't need to. His entire life. How is it that in this homogenized, watered-down world, these people couldn't even hold a candle to like the novice firebenders of 70 years ago? How can they just firebend so casually, or lightning bend so casually? There's a crime boss. There's a Yolt Zolt. The boulder. So bad.
So dumb.
Oh, it was so dumb. And he just lightning bends. I'm like, oh, that's strange. But then again, his name is Zolt. I guess lightning bolt Zolt. That's it. I guess that's his whole thing. Is he's a very skilled firebender and can lightning bend. What do I see? But then, hey, Bolin, I made an honest paycheck. Oh, I was mad.
You know what made me madder?
What?
When I watched Mako. Under the stress of being bloodbended,
Yes.
lightning bend Amon, and he just gets up.
Okay, there's a lot of things wrong. There's 2 major things wrong with that. First off, you have to do a dance to lightning bend.
Azula, the best firebender in existence, had to do a dance.
Now, once you do that dance, though, you're pretty much like you can keep lightning bending.
I
long
don't
as you keep
think
it up.
so.
No, you don't have to do. She did the dance and then shot multiple bolts. I remember her doing that. I guess you just warm up. It's like stretching. Mako, under the influence of bloodbending, outstretched his fingers just a little bit and then hit him dead center in the chest. So
Doesn't
much so
even
that
burn
he
the
flew
clothes.
back.
Doesn't even burn the clothes.
Didn't even burn the clothes. Dead center in the chest. Didn't even burn the clothes. Sent him flying back into wood that would have at least broken a few bones, a few ribs.
Gets up.
Dusts himself.
Yeah, no.
Cartoon
Dust
cartoon logic.
No, I know it's Nickelodeon, but they've proven that they can go by mature logic. They've been through mature logic through this entire series.
Judging by the end.
Yeah, judging by the end.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. The beautiful scene.
That's there's two more topics of discussion about Korra. Or 3. You've just mentioned the last one out of those 3. So let's go.
All right, let's go. That lightning bending made me mad. It's become so bending has become so non-threatening now that even lightning bending suffers. Lightning bending, the be all end all of the argument.
Yeah.
If you can you've won. If you can lightning bend, you've physically won.
All it is hitting them. If you can hit them, you win.
Not anymore. Apparently, lightning bending is just every firebender. Every firebender can do it.
Yeah. Well, the next topic of discussion is a very interesting little thing. Me and Homer noticed that when I mentioned this the first time, a cackle of laughter occurred between this entire panel. I noticed a very interesting comparison during the big naval battle that occurs between a large naval force made mostly of firebenders, being the Japanese, invade the Republic City to take it back from the Americans who win the battle by blowing them up with planes.
A surprise plane attack.
By a surprise plane attack, destroying the fleets in seconds.
It's Republic Harbor.
It's Republic Harbor. It was the Battle of Pearl Harbor reversed. The Japanese fleet being destroyed by an invasion of random American planes.
No, not an invasion of random planes. The Japanese were invading again.
Yes. So
They didn't learn their lesson.
I guess I'd be upset, but
It was too fun.
they own it. They owe us.
Yeah.
So
And
We get
what
away with
did we all think of that naval battle?
it was cool.
It was fucking
Oh yeah, it was cool.
great.
It was awesome.
Really cool.
It was,
Excellent foresight, by the way, of Asami's father to put in on these brand new planes.
Sorry, this is Patch's joke. Go ahead.
It's just on these brand new planes that he just invented that nobody else on the entire planet has, let alone has seen. Nobody has seen these. He has the foresight to put bolas that can fire out of the back of the planes just in case another plane is attacking the one plane. Just in case one of the planes is hijacked, which is exactly what happens. But still, that is some crazy preparedness.
wouldn't you know, the name Iroh strikes fear in the eyes of many.
I am Iron Man.
I am Iroh
Man.
Man.
Iron Man with jetpack hands.
Yes. All that firebending.
Oh, that
I didn't know the
And it's the
firebending.
exact same voice actor, too.
Yeah, I love that.
Dude,
when you heard that voice,
Oh, yeah. I was like,
need him to say honor.
that's what everybody says.
you just wanted to say that as he was getting knocked out of the sky.
What?
I don't know.
You know what's actually a pretty funny piece of trivia from them? I'm pretty sure that's the Red Power Ranger.
No.
What?
No.
Yeah, it's the
No.
Red Ranger.
No, it's not.
No, he's an
it's not.
MMA fighter.
Am I mixing the two up with someone
Yeah,
else?
he's an MMA.
Yeah.
Oh, he's yeah.
Yes.
I'll
The guy's, no.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, I'm mixing up my voice actors. He's an MMA fighter though.
Yeah, the Ranger is.
No, the Ranger.
The Ranger.
Yeah.
So, we covered that really quickly. We're moving on to the next important topic of discussion. Amon, who he is, and of course, the final step, the bloodbending.
He is Johan Hegg, vocalist of Amon Amarth.
I'm gonna hurt you.
My favorite band.
I swear to God, I'm gonna hurt you.
You and your metal shit out of here. Green would really like atmosphere, man.
No.
This is a topic for another day. This is a topic for another day.
Okay.
That's a topic for another
It was
day.
2 in the morning.
Okay, alright, back to Korra. I fucking loved him on. I thought he was an incredible character. I thought, as I brought up earlier, he, one thing I loved that they did throughout the entire series with several characters is there was always a point in some of the better characters where there was a point where you didn't like him and a point when God did you. Lynn is a good example. In the beginning, you weren't that fond of Lynn just because... Shut up.
I loved her.
In the beginning, you were just like, oh, yeah, she's just going to be the bitch. But then, oh my god.
Do they just, Patches, do they just have to be touched by blindness for you need to just
It has nothing
drag them to the
it has
ground
nothing-
and violate them?
It has nothing to do with my blind fetish because I'm not sexually attracted or even emotionally attracted to Bolin.
Okay, so...
Or both not Bayfong. That was
So now we have a little insight into its actual.
I was totally down Freudian slip. They're both B. It's B something.
I think it was a bowling slip.
I hate
I
you.
loved him on.
Come into Patch's defense. I have made that mistake before. I've mispronounced the name. It's like Bolin. I mean Bayfong.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Come on.
It's just that there's with a lot of characters, Tarlok is the best character with this because there's a part where in the beginning you're really shifty about Tarlok, then you hate him, but then by the end of it, dear God, do you love this man?
Yeah.
Tarlok does this, and I love how they can do that just so fluidly, so simply. With Amon, in the beginning, you kind of almost sympathize with him for just the whole. And just the way his character's made, especially Steve Blum.
You seem like he believes what he's believing or stating in the beginning.
And it's like, while he's taking extremes, he's not really wrong. And then there's points where you just, oh my god, he's such an asshole.
Yeah.
And then there's moments when, especially, when he's bloodbent by Tarlok, he just goes, oh, really? Oh, you're doing something. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, I'm just going to take your bending. Okay, I'm not sure if we've said this earlier, big spoiler, Amon's bloodbender. You know?
Yeah. That was the hint that's supposed to give it away. Is Tyler bloodbends him. He goes, "I don't care."
I don't care. And biggest spoiler of the whole night. Who is Amon? Tarlok's brother, Noatok.
Yes.
They were both Water Tribe members. They are the son of, what was his name? Yakone.
Yes.
The big gang boss that Aang defeated many years ago, who was then changed his face surgically, which they can do that now. And then
I don't believe they did that in the 1920s.
well, no, that would have been that's like 40 years earlier.
1880s. It's funny that his name's Noah Talk because he talks more than anybody else.
Yeah. Oh my god! Why did you say that?
Why did you take our time?
We could be talking about good stuff, but no. God. As I was saying, because I'm just saying.
Oh, that's stupid.
God.
It doesn't work without the picture or the reference.
I don't know which one of you I don't like more right now.
Okay, all right. They're Yakone hid in the Northern Water Tribe. Had 2 sons. Both of them could bloodbend. He teaches them how to bloodbend without a full moon, and he teaches Noatok how to psychic bend.
Which psychic bending is when you bloodbend without the movements in your arm.
Just simply through your mind, which is what Yakone did to nearly defeat Aang, and it is how Noatok or Amon is able to take people's bending by just simply the shifting through it.
Yeah.
The scene where we discover, and one thing I said earlier is I loved just how you bring up this whole thing with Tarlok where he becomes this villain, and it's like, okay, that's kind of random. Okay, you got this whole Amon thing to deal with, but no, everything is connected. Everything has its place. You're just like, okay, this is here, then we go to here, and then you find out he is directly connected to Amon. There's a reason for everything. It wasn't just a side story. And that's foreshadowing. That's just perfect suspense. Well, very well done.
The internet has shown that they kind of were upset about that explanation.
They were.
But I present this argument. That way, the explanation of bloodbending, the ability to control one's blood, which is most of them, makes more sense than saying he can energy bend because fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not a better explanation than any of the jerry-rigged stupid stuff they could come up with?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Em were talking about this in the car the other day. How I think it's actually a good justification that he was a bloodbender, and I actually kind of like it. Because, as Em just said, I hope that most of you is made up of water. I sure would hope so. And again, I would really hope that most of that water is in your blood. That'd be really healthy for a human, about 70%. I hope. I also hope that most of it's currently in your body and saturating your muscles, or else your muscles would be kind of dry.
Basically, he's hoping you're not dead, audience.
Yeah, I'm hoping you're not dead.
Yet.
Blood's in your skin.
Wait for the comments to come. Wait for the comments.
You're not as dry as Joan Rivers.
We're not Family Guy. Let's go.
All right, but any hoodles.
Run a unicycle.
All right. Cheese can be blocked physically.
Cheese can be blocked.
What is that funny? What's funny about this? Cheese. All right, fine. Cheese can be blocked physically. As shown by so stupid.
Mozzarella or Ramon?
As shown.
What's more powerful?
Fine. As shown by the anti-benders, just hitting certain points on you. They can be physically blocked by hitting points. Now, let's say Amon was to come up to you and take you in a certain position in order to do this, and block every single chi at once using bloodbending. He could, compress every chi on you and block it. He could also feasibly, if we're going to suspend our disbelief enough to believe that these people can move water through dancing, we can also suspend our disbelief enough that he can compress them permanently, albeit except for energy bending. Yeah.
I'd let Steve Blum compress my chi any day.
Shut up! Ow! Ow!
I just want to time with these people. I willingly choose it. And the world wonders why I don't find comedies funny. I've been beaten all sense of like what puns are good or no, this is all I got to compare to. I can just shallow and dead inside.
Losing what we're talking about.
Homer, keep talking. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, man.
Okay. Now, I think that's a good revelation. That I like that explanation. I think they can get away with it fine. Yeah, I think it's perfect. It might not be this whole build up of what you guys were expecting, but then again, that's what happens when you build crap up on the internet. It just keeps building up and building up and building up, and the problem with that is it will never reach your expectations.
Of course.
I never had an expectation. I was excited for what was gonna be the answer. I was excited. What's the answer gonna? I never decided to make a guess.
And you have to admit that was very well thought out. You did not see that coming.
I didn't see it coming.
You had the whole Tarlock thing, but did you in any way see that was going to be connected?
Mm-mm. I was confused as hell. Looking back on it, it was kind of stupid for not guessing it when he resisted the bloodbending. But I always kind of had it that he was a bender of some kind, I guessed. But I would have been satisfied with an equally satisfactory explanation. You know, I didn't really need that much of an explanation because I didn't have that high expectations to deal with.
I think people were just looking for an explanation that didn't already exist because people are stupid.
Yeah. That being said, I was a little bit disappointed with why he's doing all this. Because I wish I could say he's justified or unjustified. Problem is, I have only seen him up until 12 years old. I have no idea what happened to him in between 12 and the present.
We have no idea if he was doing this for power or if he really believed.
Well, according to the show, the reason he was doing it is for almost the exact reason he was, because he was one of those people who wanted equality, and you even heard it when he was a kid. He wanted equality, and he just came to realize the reason for it was bending. Yeah. The fact that since there's just this huge thing that these people have this much power, and while not everyone uses it, a good majority of them do, these people will always be oppressed.
I think that was, but I think that was really pushed into him when he realized how terrible a person his father was and how powerless he was to do terrible things anymore because he did not have bending. Because Aang had taken away his bending previously. Yes. I think that's where he thought of it as a actual solution to the problem.
Just take it away.
That is a very good point. I just want, while we're talking about Amon's motivations, this brings me back up to Tarlock's motivations and what exactly he was trying to do, because anybody with, at least in my opinion, anybody with any modicum of sense wouldn't have been playing so well into Amon's hands. It's forcing a police state onto the people of Republic City against non-benders is just going to make every non-bender who isn't part of Amon's group into joining the Equalists just for their own safety and for their freedom.
Well, I just think, they both basically wanted the same thing, but Tarlock wished to do it, of course, through the more political route. And he wanted to become more powerful, and that just didn't end up working for him because there was Tenzin and Korra. If they were not a part of the equation, he would have just gone straight to power. And would he have been fair to the lesser? We don't exactly know, because remember, he stayed with his father. He had to deal with his father for the remainder of the time. He had to deal with
and I'm sure that only got better.
That only got better. But he did say something about how his father, once Noah Talk left, got very stoic, didn't talk much, died a few years later. But Tarlock, in the end, was trying to do good, but in a just as misguided way as Noah Talk.
And I'm willing to accept that Tarlock, like many leaders in the past, failed to understand what the threat of Amon was. A lot of leaders have tried to use a military solution to solve a non-military problem. Both he and Tenzin seemed to not grasp what an insurrection it was. They had never faced a problem like that before. They were unprepared for it. Tenzin had a mentality of just leaving it alone and treating it like any random other crime, where Tarlock viewed it as a military threat, and the only way to establish dominance over a military threat is to use military means. Treat everything like a military state. It also put him in stronger political control. In a panicked military state, everyone looks to one man, not many. There is no time for a democracy in a military state.
There is no council.
Yes.
There is leader.
Yeah. So that more fits his idea of a solution. I think he just doesn't practically have it. I think he failed, and it shows. And I think he understands why he failed.
You know, with like the advent of those giant robots coming out, along with the planes, well, that was not related to Republic City, it was related to the ships, but the blimps being taken over, the storming of the troops and stuff like that, it seems like a military solution if he'd been more patient with it and waited until the actual insurrection, but built it up quietly and slowly,
yes,
then maybe it would have been a lot more effective. But he pressed it on the civilians.
Yes. Oh yes, that's why once it became a military problem, it was smart for Tenzin to call in the Allied military, which, as you saw, was quite big.
Yeah,
they show up in a day with 2 massive fleets to just handle an insurrection. It is clear that, assuming the Allied military is all the nation's Allied military forces, because didn't they have to fight another people or something?
Yeah.
In some stupid book.
Yeah, it's just I need to read up on that.
So, clearly, they were used to handling military problems, and when it became a military problem, they solved it well. As you see when Boomy's fleet goes in, apparently their military action went all right once everything was dissolved. So I believe you're right, but I believe Tenzin made that proper call. Once again, we'll never find out who would have made a better leader if the other one was around. Perhaps Tenzin could have kept things from escalating. In the end, I believe neither of them used the media properly, nor tried to win over public support in any way they could. Simple thing of having the Avatar solve crime, like she was trying to do, because most of that non-Bendir mentality came from the fact that crime lords ran things way too easily.
And even if it didn't really affect the actual crime rate that much, it would have been a huge publicity thing for the Avatar and those associated with her.
Yeah, which is all the Benders.
Yeah, and if she had, especially if Tarlok had been a little less forceful with his means of trying to get her to join him and his task force and stuff, maybe she would have looked down on him more favorably, and then he could have been associated with that whole, hey, the Avatar is a good person thing.
Yes. But moving on, anything more to say about Amon and the bloodbending?
Just overall, just quickly, I really liked what they did with bloodbending, bringing it in.
Yes.
And one of my
making
favorite...
it matter?
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of it is during Yakon's trial, when, you know, the whole point of him was he's that mobster that can get out of any court situation just because he has that one, you know, in the movies he has that one good lawyer. Well, here he has this one good thing of, well, bloodbending can't be done outside of a full moon, and there's no full moon when he was so said committed these crimes, so he couldn't have done it. And then the way they get him convicted is Sokka, who's the main judge at the time, simply says this. In my time, I've seen ordinary people do extraordinary things on their own out of nowhere. Toph can metal bend. The Avatar can energy bend. No one saw that coming. It is not within the realm of disbelief that this man can bloodbend without the full moon.
I really like that because a lot of series kind of forget that. It's like, oh, we have vampires and werewolves, but zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just we have that, you know.
Even for Sokka to come up with that much sense.
Yeah. I loved that the whole scene where they look at the old everyone as older. That is such a great scene, and I just really loved the way they implemented bloodbending. I really enjoyed him on. His downfall was, I think, well done. The final battle, of course, was a little underwhelming, but that's just due to the lacking of time, the lacking of build up. You know, it was the ending was with Korra learning how to airbend finally. Well done. The fact that she defeated him with only airbending, very well done.
Yes.
And now we get to the biggest part of this entire series. That's some of the most mature stuff we've ever seen.
Yes, which is the actual ending.
And there's 2 parts.
specifically two scenes. Me and Pyro have discussed these scenes very heavily. The first scene is probably the most mature thing that has ever aired on Nickelodeon in existence.
Which one are we talking about? We talking about
the actual suicide.
Okay. To give a quick explanation of what happens, and this is the big spoiler of the end. After Korra defeats Amon, he is shown as a waterbender, making everyone understand that he is a fraud, and everyone goes against him. Tarlok, having been imprisoned by Amon, then later goes to him and says, "Brother, we can get out of here. Come with me, Tarlok. We can leave. We can start anew. And then we can rebuild ourselves, and we can make a new world for ourselves." And Tarlok just says, "Okay." Then you later see them on a boat out in the middle of the ocean. Noatok, Amon driving, Tarlok sitting in the back, and Noatok is just standing there saying, "We can do this, brother, just like old times." That's the phrase right there that settles it. And then you just see Tarlok look over, and he sees one of the electricity gloves. Picks it up, puts it on, just looks at his brother, opens the gas tank, puts the hand over it, and the last thing he says is, "Just like old times."
You see a single
You see
tear.
a single tear go down Noatok's eye as if he knew.
Well, he did know.
Well, that's the thing, we don't know. And then, go ahead.
We do know, me and Homer discussed this previously, we do know because they already established bloodbenders know your movements. Because that's how Amon is able to, in martial arts, beat benders and divert all their attacks, is he knows what your body's doing at any moment.
That's
he knew exactly what Tarlok was doing.
And then that just makes it even more powerful. And the thing is, he didn't do a thing. The last thing we see is an explosion. Assumed Tarlok committed suicide, killing both himself and his brother.
And quite honestly, a act of double suicide.
That being the most mature thing you will ever see on Nickelodeon. One of the most mature things you'll ever see in a cartoon. Just excruciatingly well done.
Yes.
I loved it. Patches?
Even if Noatok survives, now he actually would have fireburn scars. You know? That would be delicious irony.
Yes. Thank you for ruining that.
You ruined that he committed
No, I'm
suicide.
ruining the thing we had going.
I'm sorry.
The strength of it. And the next scene, I would argue, had the possibility. There was a point where Legend of Korra had a choice to become
Game of Thrones.
the most mature thing I've ever seen made in animated format in America ever to come from anywhere, or be reasonable. It was one of those moments where I see what they're thinking and I understand why they made the other choice, because to do so would be insane but brilliant. It would have meant there would no way this would have been released, but it would have been the most sad and brilliant ending.
Do you want to explain the scene?
Yes, I'll explain the scene. It is probably my favorite scene. The Avatar, Korra, lost all but her airbending. She is, in all practicality, no longer the Avatar.
But we should explain when Amon gets a hold of her. He's able to sense her. And another thing, building to him knowing what Tarlok does, he's able to sense her breathing from 10 feet away under a thing. Drags her out, takes away her bending. But in an unexpected side twist, she has not been able to airbend the entire series. In taking away all of her bending, he unlocks her airbending. And she uses that to defeat Tarlok.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Or Noatok, yeah.
Yes.
But continue.
So, she is, in all practical sense, no longer an effective Avatar. The last time there was not a effective Avatar to watch over this continent, there was a 100-year war involving more deaths than that continent has ever seen. Ever. She, when she realized she cannot be healed, is then informed that the guy of her dreams likes her, tells him to go shove off and go back to Republic City and that she wants nothing to do with him, tells her master to also do the same, leaves immediately, bolts for the nearest cliff overlooking rocks and water, the very bottom, steps to the very edge of that cliff, tears in her eyes as her head is looking directly down. It is very obvious from contextual clues she is sitting there considering committing suicide to enable the avatar cycle to produce another avatar. It is a moment that is incredibly sad, and if you think about it, it shows a level of almost insane maturity on Korra's part to understand that her role is far more important than anything about who she is. It is a sad truth that when it comes to the Avatar, who you are as a person does not matter as much as there must be an Avatar. The scene, of course, does not take that dark turn. It is still Nickelodeon. It is still pulled back. To be honest, most animes with a adult-themed just attitude have reached this final point and not been willing to go through it. Most. The anime or the manga that gives me my name is unwilling to do the path that I just made, which is to make that final step of there is no happy ending. There's a meaningful ending there. Even they have to pull it back. So I very much understand, but to acknowledge that they came to that point, that Nickelodeon pushed this envelope so hard that it reached a point that anime as a whole, the Japanese anime, the most adult format of the animated variety, often is incapable of pushing forward, shows a advancement on the part of cartoons as a whole that must be noted and is incredibly historic. A cord just popped out of the laptop. My entire train of thought.
God in heaven.
Ruined my entire speech. But I felt I need to bring that up. Of course, the scene changes. She's greeted by her ancestor Aang in her mind, I guess. It's kind of like schizophrenia, but awesome.
Due to her lack of bending, she is now... her biggest problem throughout the series is that she had no connection to her spiritual self. So now that she has lost her physical bending, now she is now able to connect with her spiritual self.
Where Aang, I guess, through energy bending, teaches her to unlock bending in people. First herself, then she later does it to the others.
Teaches her to energy bending.
Yes. This is a good scene. It's a cop-out, but it's a necessary one.
They could not have copped out harder if they evacuated a police station.
But they did it well.
But I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
But they did it well. They did it well.
And it's the only thing they could do. I would eat my hat, for lack of a better phrase, if they managed to do that. If they managed to push that envelope off the cliff. No pun intended.
I will also come to their defense on this. It's being called an ass pull, and to be honest, it is kind of an ass pull. But the way television works almost all the time is you make the show, and then you start advertising that you're going to play the show. 10 to 1 odd says by the time that they announced Korra was going to be on the air, they were 75% done with the series. They had already written, they had the script, they had already had rewrites, they had already paid the animators to do this. To change it would have been an unbelievable nightmare. The only show that I know that animates on a weekly basis is South Park, and that's just because it's ridiculously easy to animate. With shows like Korra, comparatively it is ridiculously easy to animate. They just use Mac computers. If I can buy a Mac computer and animate it, it is easy to animate. This show has great animation quality. Even as far as Japanese animation goes, it's very good.
It's on par. It's very much on par.
Oh yeah. They have to have made this show before, they have to have finished it before episode 1 aired, or at least the day of.
Yes.
I would even go so far as to say, I would give them so much slack as to say, by the third episode, they were done animating.
Yes.
Maybe doing voice acting, but the ending was set in stone. And by that time, they hadn't gotten a second season. This was meant to be one season, a happy ending, one season. It's Nickelodeon, of course you gotta have a happy ending. So I will forgive them for this asshole because it was only supposed to be one season. What else do you want from one season? Well, now that we got 2 seasons, I am sad that, or not sad, I am really curious and a little skeptical of, well, what else can they do?
How can they raise the stakes again? You can't
be rational.
And be rational. You've already built up a 100-year war.
Well, you've had your conflict, and it's done.
And it's done.
What you have to make something completely new.
And maybe a new kind of war with some other kind of people. Me and M have discussed that the elements are based off of the five. What is it? The 5 elements of.
I argued that possibly the 5 kinds of main bending, including energy bending, sound a lot like the ideas behind the Book of 5 Rings, where the final and each one is an element: Book of Earth, Book of Water, Book of Fire, Book of Air, and the last one is Book of Void.
And we've discussed that maybe energy bending was the void bending, was essentially that, or they could still pull that. They could say energy bending is something different, because it's technically not really bending; it was before bending. So they could still pull void bending out and group it in all with bending. So who knows?
Yes. I still think. Any more comments about that ending?
Just brilliant. Damn brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely well done. I can't say it's a cop-out. Like Chase was saying, they wrote that ending to be that. But you know what? Just as M said, they got it to that point. They didn't have to. Nickelodeon could have said no, but they insisted, and that they did the in quotation fingers cop-out just to end it. It needed a happy ending because it is Nickelodeon, but just they went there, and they didn't even acknowledge that they went there.
It's
contextually clued, yes, but did the fact and then it's so hilarious how you have you have 2 suicides right there, and then but they can't do it to their main character. They did it to 2 very important characters that were well established. We cared about them, and they're done. And it was in that moment when we cared about them the most. And in that moment at the end with Korra, that was when we cared about her the most. And that's why it was so good that she was okay. That everything worked out.
You know why I liked the ending the most?
Please tell me.
Because Lin Beifong got her bending back!
I want you guys to know, I was not, while Pyro was talking, I was nodding my head so hard I feared I would get whiplash. I just got whiplash from turning to face Patches.
She's my favorite character.
If
she lost her bending,
on back to a thing, I want to mention real quick how clever I think it was. The whole taking away your bending was so clever because it allowed the show to give death to benders without showing death.
Yeah.
Once a character's bending was taken away, until that final last 5 minutes of the show, that character was, in quotation marks, for all essential purposes to the show, dead. You were able to feel that shock of, oh my god, Beifong is dead, in quotations, even though they didn't have to, they didn't put a gun to her head and blow her brains out.
Put a thumb to her head.
blow her bending out.
Aside from these painfully punished people.
Should we be punished?
Oh, I hate you. That was so clever, I think, on their part to make that the way it is. But that's kind of how I feel about the ending. Any last comments about the ending before we move on to our next topic?
To be serious, though,
Oh, now you're serious.
Well, yeah, the Lin
Just say it.
Okay, oh, no, now I lost it. Thank you, Pyro.
You're welcome, audience.
We saved you for whatever trouble.
No, it was serious. It was serious. Just talking about how the ending. I thought that the end. I don't know the exact words anymore, but I thought the ending was very, very good. Like they've been saying, it's a very mature. Could have gone in a very dark place. I knew for a fact that it would never get to that dark place. It would never cross the threshold. But I'm glad that it pushed against the boundary and showed that there is this boundary here, because I haven't seen that in a very long time. And it's just nice to see that in a modern cartoon.
To have it reach that same level that anime reached. To be quite honest,
that even full-time dramas can't get there.
Yeah,
Full-time live-action dramas of any of any nationality could not get there because they can't be that serious.
Well, you know how I knew that they would never let her die?
How?
It's called The Legend of Korra. Otherwise, it'd be the pretty cool story of Korra because it's only one season long. The legend lasts a while. You need a lot to make a legend.
That just ruined everything for me.
And this podcast's over. I'm kidding.
Actually, I have one more thing I wanted to bring up. Just a quick thing. Everyone's favorite and least favorite character.
Everyone's favorite and least favorite character. That is really easy for me.
I just remembered what I was going to say. I'm very sorry for interrupting you guys. But that the leader of the opposite team, the Fop guy!
Yes! That's why I wanted to bring up the favorite and least favorite characters.
Oh. Well, no, I was just going to say...
face.
No, I was just going to say... I very rarely... If a show makes
me... Are you about to tell me that you liked him?
No, hold on. If a show... it's very rare that if a show makes me dislike a character, I will begin to like them. It has happened only a couple of times. Specifically, I will say Game of Thrones has done that with 2 characters. And that is very, very rare for me. Usually when I come up with an opinion for a character, that's my opinion of them. Forever. But after he had his bending taken away, I actually felt really sorry for him.
We should probably mention who this character is.
Yeah, okay, I was going to get to that in my character thing.
I did the perfect... Nothing describes this character's voice acting better than director's son. The director's son just wanted to be there. His voice so bad. Hey, Korra, you wanna... Damn it. So bad.
What's the word, Chase?
Fuck! By the way, audience, neither M nor Pyro, with their extended vocabulary, knew what the word fop meant, and this is the first time that they heard the literary word fop. I'm not sure. According to them, I have a whole list of words and expressions that no one's ever heard and are apparently years old. I come from Wisconsin.
We still haven't mentioned who the character is.
No, I'm getting to it. You shut up. It's the leader of the leader of the Wolfpacks.
Wolfpack, that's it.
Not the Gray Foxes.
I've been playing with Wolfpacks.
Shut up. The leader of the Gray Fox... The Wolfpacks. It's the leader of the Wolfpacks. He is the most foppish character I've ever seen in anime. I think. He's definitely in the top 5.
That'll change.
He's definitely in the top 5 because I didn't, to be quite honest, I didn't
Top 5 Foppy?
Top 5 Foppy. I didn't really get into anime until halfway through my freshman year of college, which was last year. So I'm technically a novice to all this stuff.
He's a noob.
I'm a noob. But I like to think that I know what I'm talking about and I'm confident. And I am definitely confident in saying this guy is a fop.
What does that even mean?
I have my computer right here, audience.
No, just say it so we can
fact
move
checking.
I'm trying to look up the exact definition. The exact definition, I believe,
extremely flamboyant, but
not really flamboyant. More
I remember it used that word.
Effeminate, stylish, a bit flamboyant.
Super metrosexual.
Super metrosexual. That's a big one.
I mean, you got to see this guy.
You got to see.
You got to see. He's just got that perfect coiled, almost Elvis hair.
Yes.
That just it looks like he spends.
That's it. Absurdly vain. And
what's his name?
Idiot. They have to be an idiot. They have to be vain, and they have to be slightly effeminate.
So kind of like
if anybody here remembers
Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes, that's a fop. That is a fop. Simon Belmont is a fop. Who else?
But getting to it, getting around back to it. Patches. What were you saying about it? Yes, we finished.
I was just saying that the character actually redeemed himself in my mind. Like
there is a really decent
creators of the show
where I almost said she. He looks so pathetic after he gets his bending taken away that you feel so bad that
and I'm sorry, the thing that makes it up for me is that good sucker punch Korra gives him.
Yeah.
In the one-on-one. Just the, dodge. Right in the chin.
No, I was playing New Vegas when this scene went on, and I was thinking, it's that jackass. So I was just sitting there playing New Vegas. And it's like, wait a second, he had his bending taken away. I was kind of watching the scene out of the corner of my eye, and as the scene went on, I eventually just paused my game turned off the controller and just sat staring at the screen because of how serious that scene was.
That might not sound like a big deal, but for something to take him away from Fallout New Vegas,
That means a lot.
that's a pretty...
Alright, back to this whole thing of least favorite character, M.
Alright, my favorite character, as I admitted to the internet in my review, I have a bit of like a fanboy crush on Korra, to be honest. I don't know why, but I do. But she is honestly my favorite character in that. My least favorite character is easily Tenzin's little shit of a son, Milo. That is fucking fart bending. I hate him. I hate him so much. He is my least favorite character. My favorite character is easily Korra. Patches?
My favorite character, if you guys have not been able to guess, is Milo. No, I'm kidding. Is Lin Beifong, because I just think she's one of the most amazing characters I've ever seen. She's got that very stern attitude, but at the same time, she does have the depths, especially when you learn of her history with Tenzin.
You would love her mom.
Oh, God.
Toph is so tough. Watching Toph Earthbend is actually like an incredible experience.
Oh god!
Every fight scene with Toph and it is actually
Blind girl makes rock armor, leaves room for eyes.
I've seen little bits and pieces of it. I'm going to love Toph.
so that her gray eyes can stare you cold in the face.
Yeah.
Well, it's a scare tactic.
So your least favorite?
But my least favorite character, and I have a feeling I can get a lot of hate for this, is Mako. I really don't like him.
Close second for
Understandable.
Tenzin's son.
Because he
Mako's
seems...
he's kind of a jerk if you really think about it.
Well, there is like a character type of that jerk with the heart of gold, kind of, and you can kind of see that he has a heart of gold or whatever. But the love triangle that they force with Bolin, Korra, and Mako is ruined because he has such great chemistry with Asami. Like, I actually think he was really good with Asami. Every scene they were in, they felt like a couple.
I feel like having that love triangle not resolve for Korra in the way she wanted helped get rid of some of the Mary Sue around her.
Yeah.
And I think was a far better solution to that love triangle. It was unique, it was interesting, and I felt like it handled maturely when it was like, alright, we resolved this triangle very early on, and it didn't work out for the main character. And I thought that was much better.
I'd like to interject that I agree with Patches 100% on the chemistry that Mako and Batman, I mean Asami, have. No, Batman.
Oh god! That makes it the greatest.
She's
series
rich. She has gadgets.
She is Batman.
She essentially lost both her parents. She's Batman.
Oh god!
So anyway, Asami and him had great chemistry. Mako and Korra, on the other hand, I believe, have a non-bonding chemistry ranking up there. Ranking up there with like Anakin and Amidala on screen.
God. You're hot. You're hot. Yes, fuck.
Padme. Her name is Padme.
Well, technically Amidala.
Padme. Amidala. Please.
How did we end at Star Wars?
Okay. You want to hear?
And the bad Star Wars movies too.
Okay, but back to
That's
Love
another
Triangle.
podcast.
Back to Love Triangle. When you see Bolin and Korra together, they seem like best friends at the least. And honestly, the best thing...
way better.
I've heard it said, and honestly, I can see where they're coming from. The greatest thing in the world is marrying your best friend. So I could totally see Bolin...
But guess what?
Jacob.
Friend zone.
Guess what? Friend zone because
Pyro.
she wants to have the...
We need to go get married.
All the science.
All the science
is mine.
No! But no, I could seriously see them just... Especially because they have a similar attitude with, like, the carefreeness. But Korra has... It's slightly different in that she's more serious. Like, she does have a little bit of fun with it, but she's more serious with her ambitions, while Bolin is a lot more carefree.
Yeah.
I think they play off each other very well.
Alright.
And Mako just ruined it. I fucking hate it.
On to Pyro?
Favorite Tenzin.
Good choice.
Because
choice.
one thing that really helps is when that moment where you notice who that guy is who voiced him. Anybody here who's ever played Portal 2? Cave Johnson. Anybody who's ever seen the old Spider-Man movies? J. Jonah Jameson. That guy.
That guy?
That guy.
Yeah. That guy.
That guy is Cave Johnson.
Oh yeah.
He is one of my favorite voice actors. And one thing I loved about Tenzin, and most of the characters in that show, is none of them were just revamps of the original cast of Last Airbender. None of them. They were all extremely unique, completely different. You know, there was really nothing that was the same. You know, you still had the comic relief character, but there always has to be that one. For my least favorite character, I have to say, remember that? It was that really squeaky voiced, not sure if man or woman person.
What?
Don't you remember that?
The secretary?
No. The secretary. Total secretary. Yeah, the one that actually like kind of redeemed him herself in the end.
Yeah.
That creepy son of a bitch.
She exists.
We don't know. We don't know. Even they
is.
admitted in the show, they don't know who it is or what kind of person.
I think one of them referred to her as her. So we're
I don't
pretty sure it's
No,
female.
it was really freaking creepy.
Homer,
Pretty sure
take
it's
it away.
Alright. I hate to be the guy who has the ties for like all the characters. I have a hard time picking a favorite because again, Korra is such a her character is awesome. The way she's voiced, the way she acts, awesome. But then M already has that. You want to say?
I just want to make a point. It's incredible that they were, and this is very rare in any kind of fiction whatsoever, when your main character, the character that has to go through the biggest character arc, is likable, and is probably one of the most likable, is shockingly difficult to do. Because usually your favorite character, the best characters, are a side character who is already established with their personality and is more flat. When you have to have a character go through a character arc, you have to see the worst and best of this character. And if they can come out of that other end, still your favorite over a Mary Sue side character, that many side characters, by the nature of their lack of a character arc, are Mary Sue's. An example, Iroh is easily everyone's favorite character of Last Airbender because he's perfect from the get-go. There's no character arc for him, He started off perfect, ended perfect. So it's hard. When Korra can go through a character arc and still manage to be one of the top, it's a shock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just fucking love Korra's character. She's the kind of person who you want to be friends with. You just want to be friends with.
That's Homer's polite way of saying
He'd hit it.
I was going to say...
I'm being serious. You want to meet this person. What?
He wants to kiss her.
He hit it. He hit it.
No, and just you want to meet this person. Then there's Tenzin, who is Tenzin. Okay, for this next test, we're gonna shoot you with some lightning bending. Worst case, best case scenario, you get some superpowers. Worst case, some tumors, which we'll cut out. I love his. I love everything that voice actor ever does. But I don't know if I can give it to Tenzin solely because of his voice actor, because Tenzin himself is kind of uptight.
One thing I loved is it was a different voice. J. Jonah Jameson and Kate Johnson, very similar. You have to look up that this was him.
No, I recognize it on.
I did, but I could never just go, is it?
Yeah.
Because he actually made a point to make it different,
Yeah.
and he made it well. Go ahead.
He did very well. And then there's I always like those goofy, zany characters. Like I said, there's a line between zany and over the top obnoxious. These guys walk that line perfectly. The Bum. He's awesome. You only see him in 2 episodes, but he's funny. And he's funny every time you see him.
Is he supposed to be the son of that one crazy bum from...
Maybe. Either that or, there's a big thing. How much you want to bet he's in a freaking White Lotus?
Probably.
Of course.
And
because why not?
And
he deserves it.
There's Boomy, who comes in for 5 seconds. The greatest 5 seconds.
Do you know what his line is?
Wahoo.
Wahoo.
Wahoo. Wahoo. Greatest Wahoo. He's Boomy. He's freaking Boomy. And then, none of this would have been possible. None of this, literally none of this would have been possible without the cabbage salesman. For those of you who don't know, this is canon. You can look it up in the wiki. The cabbage salesman was the first person to create a vehicle.
that was powered entirely by cabbages. I'm not joking. This is canon. He made a vehicle. Sato bought the design from him and refined it to run on fuel. I am not freaking joking. They even go so far as to mention in the series, if you pay attention, Cabbage Corp. And they show Cabbage Corp's building, and there's the cabbage salesman. He stood the test of time, and he lost his cabbages to so much, and he came out on top.
And your least favorite character?
No, I'm trying to think. But my favorite character probably is Korra, to be quite honest. Like, in all seriousness, I can't really think of anybody who I liked better than Korra. My least favorite character, thank God Patches has volunteered to bleep out at least a few words. Do I have your permission?
Say what you will.
That motherfucking cock-sucking son of a bitch, Maki or whatever the fuck, his shot fart bending! God damn it! Oh my god! That son of a fucking cock-sucking...
Homer! Be the leaf!
Be the leaf! God damn it! That motherfucker! That son of a bitch, cock-sucking...
You have to admit, though, he kicked some ass.
He kicked one ass!
No, he kicked 2 or 3.
With his ass! With his ass! By farting! Do you have any idea?
He's probably like
That is over the top obnoxious!
Yeah, but he beat the shit out of 3 guys when he was like 6 years old, 5 years old. That's pretty bad.
Alright. We gotta hone it in. That lovely cursing section from Homer.
Alright. Everybody said what they need to say. Closing comments.
Any closing comments? Well, there's 2 subjects. One of them is a core related. The other one is a closing thing. Last thing. On Anime Vice, my review, which was very core positive, did not go so well. A lot of people were very upset.
Yeah, what for that?
A lot of people have very timid views towards Korra, at least publicly, though. Weirdly enough, the internet also always says the opposite thing. I've come to the conclusion that if you review anything as above 4 stars or below 3, the internet will go in rage. But what do you think inspires this kind of cultural disdain? Or distaste, not disdain.
For you giving it too much?
Yeah, or just in general, this like, I don't think Korra...
Why do you think people had such negative reactions?
Because I have a feeling it's because the whole fanboy for the original series.
Yeah.
Where, you came... The thing is, you came into it at a very late period, and then, like, right after you finished... right after M finished Last Airbender, we immediately took him over and made him watch Legend of Korra. As for, like, Homer and I, we had seen Avatar, as children when it was on Nickelodeon. That was a big part of our childhood. I've rewatched it 3 times. Then I watched Korra, and I enjoyed it for that. There's a lot of people out there that think, oh, well, did it really need a sequel? And a lot of, there's, people bitch about Amon, people bitch about all the different stuff that happened in Korra. Those are the kind of people that think it didn't need a sequel, so it can't be as good.
To those people, I would like to say, did Avatar: The Last Airbender need a sequel? Answer: no. It did not need a sequel. It was very good. It ended on a great note. It didn't need anything else. Do I need a mini fridge in my room? No. It's awesome that I have one. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't want someone to take away my mini fridge. That thing's on. I have 2 Diet Cokes in there right now. I drank 3. I love my mini fridge, and I love my Korra. It's very good. Just because something doesn't need it doesn't mean you don't doesn't warrant it for you don't want it. Not needing something and not wanting something are 2 different things. Just because you don't need it doesn't mean you shouldn't have it.
I don't need PlayStation 3. I want one.
Yeah. I would love the season 2 of Korra. Doesn't technically need one. It ended. I want.
And God, I almost forgot what I was going to say. I have this feeling that people online have this big problem where they think 3 or 4 is that the only thing that can ever be that good. As in, it's like, if you're 3 or 4, they're going to watch it. As in, that is their 5. They don't believe in a 5. They don't believe anything can be that good. Because there's, you're obviously a reviewer,
Well,
but
they usually have one thing that's 5.
well, yes, everyone has that one, but as a reviewer, you scrutinize, you look at it all, but there's a lot of people out there that just think that nothing can be that perfect 5, or even that 4.5. Nothing. And you actually have this great idea for why Korra is a 4.5. And it's simple mathematics.
I like the science.
You like the science. The reason his is 4.5 is because he gave Avatar: The Last Airbender a 4 out of 5 because it deserves a 4 out of 5. Korra, in his opinion, is better, which is his opinion, and he gives his very valid reasons for it. Why should it not get a better score?
Exactly.
Why should it not? And he didn't give it the 5 because it's not perfect.
No.
It will never be perfect. Barely anything will be that perfect.
I even argue that 5 to me isn't perfect because I think 5 is attainable and perfection is not.
Yes.
For example, if I was to throw it out there, I'll make this statement publicly. Cowboy Bebop, if I was to sit down and review it, having previously seen it, I would give a 5. Purely because 5 to me means you stand a very historic moment in terms of just media in general, where anyone of any time period can watch this and take something away from it. There are very few things that can last that well. And I don't think Korra deserves it. I think it's very good, but I don't think you have to be that. It's very rare, and it's important that it is rare. But I agree. I just can't sit comfortably and go, well, I'll just give everything a 4 because it's the safe answer. Or I've noticed that generally my reviews, most things fall between a 3 and a 4 because most things aren't actively terrible. At some point somebody sits around and goes, this will make money, right? If they go no, generally it doesn't come out. And so things aren't actively that bad. So generally, unless you're a full of yourself terrible animated movie, you don't get lower than 3 stars, generally. Or if you're a terrible Dead Space movie. Or if, I have the authority to say why F gave Blue Drop 2 stars, I would be able to sit here and explain why that didn't deserve to be above 3. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit around and go, well, I should give it 4 because high numbers scare me. No. And more, I think the internet backlash comes out of a just change is scary and popularity equals bad. Homer, you have no idea how it works. Don't mess with technology.
It's good. Keep going.
But let's...
So I think popularity makes people angry. It's very cool and original to not like popular things.
Oh, God.
What?
There's the word for this.
Hipsters.
Hipster.
I said that.
Oh.
The thing is...
No one cares. Well, fuck your shit.
So
Shut your ass up, you jive-ass turkey. Jive turkey motherfucker.
Whoa. Did you just call him a jive turkey?
I called him a jive turkey motherfucker.
How dare you?
That's our word.
That's our
honing it all back in, people.
Yes.
We got one last segment to go to, our discussion on Korra, unless anybody has anything more to say.
I was going to say, I'm actually surprised that this show doesn't have as insanely rabid a fan base as I might expect it to be. As I am a member of another extremely rabid fan base that I will not mention.
He's a brownie.
Yeah, I'm a brownie. They are an extremely rabid and crazy fan base. I'm surprised there isn't an extremely rabid and crazy fan base for Korra. I think that Korra deserves the extremely crazy and rabid fan base even more than My Little Pony.
It does have that.
Not nearly as bad as the Bronies.
Not nearly as bad, but surprisingly how a show, if anyone who's ever been on the site Funny Junk, whether you enjoy that site or not, there was a huge thing where now the main site is controlled by 2 groups of people, Bronies and the Benders.
Hardly.
Bendies.
Bendies, is that what they call them?
No, I'm just...
I think Bender's make.
Bendy's is just shorter.
Okay,
But no,
yeah, okay,
I'm
go
just-
sit over there with your fiddle faddles.
Shut up. Fiddle Faddle is a delicious. It's like. Never mind.
Yeah,
I'm just, I'm just surprised that the show isn't more popular than it is, because My Little Pony is blasted all over the internet. I don't hear nearly as much as of Legend of Korra.
Alright, M, what is our final subject?
Our final thing, since we're all done with our core discussion, is just a quick overview of what's next for us, and not necessarily deciding when or what our next podcast is going to be, but what are you looking forward to? What are you watching? What are you playing next? As we're coming into it, starting with, would you like me to start or?
Go ahead, please.
Give you time to think. One of the things I'm doing, I got a bunch of games on my list of things to get to, a bunch of anime. One of the things I finished downloading is, and I have no idea what it's about, and I have no idea why mention of kendo clubs. By the way, short thing, I really like kenjutsu. So there was a visual novel, I was just like sorting through it, about basically a kendo club. A girls' kendo club. And I was, fuck it. Getting it. No idea what it is. It's patched for English. No fucking idea. It's on my computer. It's there. I'm gonna find out. I can't wait to discover whatever the hell I just downloaded. Discover how wrong a decision that was of mine. And that's gonna be great. I also have Steins Gate downloaded there. Though
Hell yeah.
Good.
Considering watching the anime first.
I'd say.
Yeah,
I'll
correct.
watch
Watch
that.
the anime.
Because I want to
Well, no,
watch.
he has the visual novel.
Yeah, watch the anime
yeah.
first.
Yeah, watch the anime
Yeah.
first just to get on.
I also have Fate Zero. That is another thing that
Me and you, man. Me and you.
me and Homer have been talking about watching. And plus, I don't know if we're going to do another spoiler cast, but there might be consideration for all of us sitting down and picking something that we can all take a bite at.
Yeah.
Katawa Shoujo.
We have Katawa Shoujo, we have games we can talk to.
Fatal
talk about games.
Frame.
Fatal Frame we
Fatal.
can talk about. There's a lot of things. I'm looking forward to, just simple things, games. Game season's coming up, man.
Game season is
Game season's coming up.
winter is coming.
Winter
is coming, stop.
God.
wait.
It's
Oh God, April.
I have
April.
What's
I
the name?
have next
Season
next
3.
season of
Oh.
Game of Thrones. I have a lot of animes to watch.
Anything in particular?
Really can't wait for Eureka AO because Eureka 7 is my favorite anime. It just has a personal
So you're going to
thing
sit down and take a bite out of that?
Take a bite of that, and I'll come back in a couple weeks tell you what I think.
Sloth, man.
All right.
What? No, we're not. What? No, no,
Sloths.
not Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something different. Yeah, bad times. I'm just looking forward to doing this, man. I think this is working out well. Please tell us what you guys think. Point at you, microphone.
Yes, you internets, you anime vice, tell us. I'm going to give out Jacob's phone number, and you can call him directly and tell him how much you hate.
So that username thing, that's working out really well.
I'm
isn't
gonna
it?
beep that out. Don't worry.
Hey, don't worry, the 5 people who bothered to download this one.
I don't think there are parents anyway.
Wait a minute, let's count off. 1.
I don't realize why that's funny. My dad's dead. But anyway, I'm going to interrupt Pyro.
the best
who I'm
part,
going to
though?
assume is
I did say a name. No idea which of us is that name.
yeah, except for you. It's not you.
Yeah.
Could be either one of us three. But no, I'm going to interrupt Pyro because I'm going to assume he's done, or
I got nothing left.
Homer if he was talking.
Go
I don't
ahead,
remember.
yeah.
Okay. I actually have 3 to 4 things on my plate right now. One, when night falls, I'm going to be playing Alan Wake because I've heard it's pretty good. I don't like Stephen King at all, not at the least, but I'm going to give it a try, especially because I'm playing on hard mode, so it's actually a little scary. The second thing on my plate, anime-wise, is I'm watching adorably cute things like K-On! And Azumanga Daioh. I want to finish those as soon as possible so I can move on to something serious. I'm probably going to end up watching Steins Gate with M over here, if you would like to, that is.
Absolutely.
3, I am going to be watching ancient, well, not really ancient, just I'm going to be watching a lot of really old movies. And by really old, I mean like 70s and 80s, like Alien. I'm going to watch those. But that doesn't matter.
Alien.
And 4...
That's irrelevant to this podcast.
No, this is the 4, and this is totally irrelevant. I'm going to find some of the most disturbing and disgusting pornography, preferably anime. And besides that, I'm going to play the entirety of the visual novel, School Days.
What's wrong with you?
I'm going to play through every route I can.
Wait. Do you intend to write reviews for Anime Vice about...
Was there a purpose for finding the disgusting pornography other than finding the disgusting pornography?
Not really, no.
Just find...
It's like watching Boku no Pico. It's just to say I have.
We hate you.
Brony motherfuckers.
Alright, Homer,
Not
you're...
just watching one Boku
Homer,
Pico,
what you
all
up to?
three.
Alright.
What you have to do?
Dr.
What am I
Slobotnick, tell us.
Dr. Slobotnick.
Okay. My family has had this tradition since forever, where I was born in Wisconsin. I'm currently living wherever you guys think I'm living. Don't care. But every year we go back there to Wisconsin to a cabin we have up there. I've recently been only going for 2 weeks instead of the entire summer because I like friends.
And we like you.
Yeah, I get to do cool stuff
Most
like
of the
water
time.
skiing and shooting guns and stuff like that, and you guys don't. Neener. But I'm going to be going up there.
Neener.
But we have friendship.
Yep, we got friendship.
You got part of the cards.
when I go up there, I'm planning on bringing my Xbox and actually playing Assassin's Creed Revelations because I haven't played it yet. I got it for Christmas. I need to finish that. Probably getting
It's
some
July.
achievements. Shut up. No, duh.
That's 7 months, Homer.
And
7.
I've been saving it
Months.
for something good. Any hoodles. I'm gonna. You always find that funny. I'm gonna be playing that. Probably getting some achievements in Halo Anniversary. Me and Pyro are diehard Halo fans.
Die hard.
As well as M, if I'm not mistaken, and probably with patches.
Hand off out.
I have a lot of anime back. I got Bakemonogatari, Nisei Monogatari, Daily Lives with High School Boys, Fate Zero, and I gotta finish Planets before I even start that. Angel Beats is alright. What I'm really looking forward to, though, is sitting down with them here every Saturday night and watching some good old Dead Man Wonderland and Casher and Sins.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are gonna get some reviews and maybe, if you're lucky, a podcast about some of that stuff. I'm really looking forward to playing Fatal Frame 3 with these guys, and
That might hurt you.
that's going to be fun. We might try and do something with that too, which is going to be really fun. I know I had a good time doing this, and I'm looking forward to doing this again.
Hey, man.
I'm also looking forward to finally shooting a couple new guns that I got at a gun show a couple of months back.
So I've come up with a name for this podcast.
What?
Heavy.
It's going to be the MCast episode 1, birthdays, avatars, and Nameslips.
Is that it? Are we done?
Well, let Homer finish.
Oh, that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to spending more time doing this. Getting a lot of anime out of the way so I can not be a novice anymore and maybe contribute to this site other than my voice.
Tonight is also the birth of the Homer Slobotnick page on Anime Vice.
PyroBlue and Patch's Clown to come soon.
Come soon to join the Anime Vice community. If you guys want to, send a message, follow them, give them some love, that'd be great. You can find me, ElfenLied 1012. Specifically, I'm M of the dual users. Follow me. See if you like my reviews. Go ahead and recommend them. Show whatever love you want. Follow us. No problem. Download for more of these podcasts. Send me some messages. Send me some questions, ideas.
Definitely
whatever you
feedback. Give just anything we can be doing better.
And before you ask, yes, I know less cursing would probably be a better thing. I don't think we're going to be able to do that
Yet.
Yet.
We got a bleeper though. We got a bleeper.
Hopefully.
We got a
Follow us on
bleeder.
Twitter and hashtag Halo Wars my penis. I'm kidding.
And that's it for the podcast.
Good night, folks.
All right.
It's a wrap.